now. So we should see it start to prepare. And if we want to both go to, should be live now. If we want to both go to my YouTube channel, we can check to see if it's working.
Rainy Day Collectibles. I'm talking with them later this month. Those guys are legit too.
Yeah. Yeah, Zakil's become a friend of mine. If you want to both go to, should be live now. If you want to both go to my YouTube channel, we can check to see if it's working.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. So we'll both turn off our sound on the video, and I think people will start to come in. I didn't publicize it, so people will kind of come in slowly.
Hey, Mason.
Hey guys, thanks for being here. Got one of my favorite guys in the hobby, definite friend of the channel, early person hanging out with all of us on the lives. We have Swami here today. For those who may not know who you are or know your channel, do you want to give yourself a little plug and shout out and do the YouTube stuff, and we can go from there?
Yeah. So, hey everybody. Hey Derek. Hey Classics. Hey Mason. Swami here. I've been collecting Pokemon cards since 2014, and I kind of got lucky on a first buy. There was a first edition Drakafu, kind of flipped that first collection purchase, and then just kept flipping from there, and ended up with a lot of cards in 2020. And I got a YouTube channel. I'm a big bear, actually. I haven't really believed in a lot of what's happened this last year, just to get it out of the way. But I've just been trying to understand it, understand the demand, understand the prices, what happened. It was a lot of fun. I had a blast. I mean, it was a great year. It's just, I was very skeptical for a long time, throughout pretty much the whole year. But it was fun, made a lot of money, and I'm still in Pokemon, making videos. That's me.
Thank you. Yeah, it's great. It's great to have you here. I feel, definitely one of the first people who supported this channel. I love what you do. I love your comedy videos. There's got to be some of my favorite videos in the hobby. Thanks, and I love your bluntness. It's a relief because I feel like at times I'm definitely a lot less blunt than I'd like to be, because I'm trying to be more tactical, and I also think it's just really important to particularly when you're presenting something to someone for the first time, to do it in sort of a way that they might be able to absorb it or listen to it a little bit more, rather than just being like, I'm going to block that guy out because I disagree with him.
Your channel's got a chance, Jake.
But I know your videos on some of our mutual, I won't mention his name, but that video, the Guru's Guide to Guruing is great.
Those were a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun making those.
Yeah. So definitely make sure, guys. Swami is someone who really cares about people in the community. He is on this live. He's on a lot of lives, like PokeGal. We're both a big fan of PokeGal. We're hanging out over there. It's really important for us all to support people who are really telling the truth about what they see, what they think, and have experience and care a lot about, and are going to be here after sort of the hype, and are not primarily here to make money or make a killing here, and really spoke out because they were concerned and really care about the longevity of the Pokemon hobby. So, please go support guys like Swami, PokeGal, anyone like that. It's just so important that we all support each other. And there are a lot of people too who watch this channel in the chat feel the exact same way about those channels. We're none of us are going anywhere. We all love Pokemon. We all love collectibles and pop culture stuff. And I know you and I are both collectors of
a lot of stuff.
Everything.
Yeah.
And I think that there are a lot of people like that who probably watch and enjoy this channel, and who are similar types of guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the plan for today, just gonna be super, super casual. Just gonna hang out with you guys. I am gonna do the Patreon questions, which Swami is aware of, and we're both gonna give you our quick takes on those in the beginning. Just because I'm not gonna be here again this Sunday because it's Mother's Day, and I am gonna spend that whole day with my mom and with family. But the following Sunday, I will be back for the normal live. Part of why I'm doing this extra live with Swami and that extra live with another, Dan and Nick, great friends of the channel as well. It's because I missed last Sunday because for personal reasons, which I won't talk about, a family thing, and then this Sunday because of Mother's Day. But I want to make sure that I continue to pump out the content for you and give you guys all my takes and all Swami's takes. And maybe the plus side can be that this is a little bit of a different time. So maybe some people who can't make those Sundays can make this time, that sort of thing. So hopefully there'll be a silver lining for some of you guys. All right. So before jumping into the Patreon questions, I do have a Patreon announcement, which I was talking to Swami about a little bit. So I want to make more money on this channel. And yet I want to continue to be as transparent and trustworthy and for the community as I possibly can. And so I think that's going to be a process of like working with you guys, working with the community to figure out what that looks like exactly. And so I've been talking to my Patreon members a little bit about what services I could offer where I could charge a little bit more for, or what services would be more worthwhile for people who do watch the channel and enjoy the channel, but aren't signed up for the Patreon. So one thing that we came up with, we were talking about, is doing one of the Q&As, doing a private Q&A with a smaller group of people where I'm a lot more transparent than I am here. And in that video, those videos, I've talked more about what I'm actually buying and selling, what I really think about certain cards. We could get into a bit more specifics. And I could really get to know you guys a little bit better, and maybe we could even all feed off each other, because there probably wouldn't be too many people in that sort of live discussion. I'm also hoping that we can figure out a way to do that where we can hear each other's voices. I don't like this model where I'm the only one on the screen talk and you guys are typing in the chat. It's great that we can connect and talk. It's why I like to do the lives. But I think having like actual discussions and conversations and arguments and debates is where a lot of the learning is really going to happen. So trying to figure out how to do that. So I'm going to add some tiers starting next month on the Patreon. I may also add some sort of consultant tier. I still am getting a lot of people, some people who are already Patreon members, some people who aren't, wanting consulting. I have mixed feelings about it. I just continue to have mixed feelings about all these things as part of why I bring it to you guys. I want everything on this channel to be free. At the same time, I'm spending, I'm basically working almost like I work a full-time job, and I'm doing this more and more. It's becoming sort of like a full-time job. So I'm sort of working 2 full-time jobs, and this is this isn't it's really been a complete labor of love. And I actually would like to potentially work less and at some of my therapy stuff and counseling stuff. And if I could make more of a living off of this, I could make that transition. And I've been working really hard to up the quality of the content, bringing on an editor. Eventually maybe we'll even do merch and things like that if people want that, if people are interested in that. So that's all the stuff we're thinking about here. Again, just want to be completely transparent with what I'm going through. I also see how much money every other channel is making that has like this type of knowledge and shares this sort of stuff, like tens of thousands of dollars a month in some cases, or they're selling products to their audience. They're upcharging them on booster boxes and product. And I just don't want to do any of that. I never want to do that. My goal is to provide the same type of free info to people while also providing enough added benefit that enough people from this community would be willing to pay whatever we decide. I don't know, $20 a month, $10 a month, maybe $50 for like consulting or 100 for consulting. I'm not exactly sure how that's all going to work. We'll try and figure that out. So a big thank you to everyone who's been supporting the channel all along, and subscribing and like leaving a like, sharing the videos is also a huge help in supporting it, because part of it is also getting these videos out there a little bit more. Because if we have more people in the Patreon or doing these other things, then I don't need to charge as much. It's like everyone can pay a little bit, and then I don't have to up it to get enough out of the channel. You know, right now, transparently, I'm making like $500-ish a month on the channel for 20 to 30 hours a week work. And, you know, and the information and knowledge I'm giving has helped me make $1 million in Pokemon cards. So it's a little off, I think, you know, in terms of that. So yeah. What do you think about all that, Swami?
I think that's great. There's a lot of people with Patreons, and you definitely have the knowledge, right? I think you could help people. I think the biggest hurdle for you might be like, if you could do a chat with people. Some of my favorite times in the last year have been in Squeaks's Discord, you know, at 12 at night on a Saturday or something. And there's a small group of people, and the conversations that you can have, especially if you're in them, I think people could learn a lot. And then you could also get specific enough to where it's stuff that it isn't even necessary for a YouTube video for everybody, because it'll be tough to figure out the best way to monetize it, but you've definitely got some knowledge that's worth something. So yeah, good luck figuring it out.
Yeah. You know, I think it's like, I hold a lot back on the channel because I don't want to tell people exactly what I'm buying, because then they're one that I feel like I worry that manipulates the market, which is something we always talk about here, and that people will just buy what I'm buying straight out. And two, I lose like that competitive advantage. It's like, I've put the years in the hobby, done the legwork. I've tracked all the prices. I know I have that knowledge. I'm seeing the prices go down. And then if I just give that away for completely free on the video, and then I get like a downvote or two, you know, because it's like, you know, we think you're wrong or whatever. And then other people like do it and buy it up, so I can't get it. It's sort of like, you know, and the other alternative is to scale back. And this might be something that I decide to do. Like, we might hate the Patreon guys, which is totally valid. Like, we might just be like, we don't want this channel to be about that. None of us like it. I don't like it. You guys don't like it. And then it's like, I just need to like scale back the content, scale back how much we're doing. It's kind of a learning process. The first time I've ever done anything like this, I never thought I'd be on social media. So it's yeah.
Right. I mean, it's how do you monetize learning, right? I think that's what people would be paying for, is to learn, right? Like with Rudy's Patreon, they're paying him to support him and get product from him at a good price.
Yeah.
And but what you've got is knowledge and learning and experience. And, you know, like some of these Patreon questions are great questions. And I would like, why would you ever give this type of specific information in a video for any other reason than someone asking you, right? I mean, it'll just be, I would definitely encourage you to figure out a way to monetize it in whatever way you can. So.
Yeah, it's, you know, I've answered probably, you know, many thousands of questions, many privately, guys, where I constantly get Instagram questions. I've given it all away for free. I've never charged anyone a single cent. And it's just sort of like, it's just not sustainable.
20 hours is real, right?
Yeah. And that's just, and then I spend another 20 hours on my buying and selling and my looking at Pokemon and my tracking, you know, that's just 20 hours into the channel and preparing and thinking about the questions in the video and doing the research so that I can be up on things enough to run the channel. You know, and then I work 50 hours a week at a normal full-time job. So it ends up being like, you're talking like 90 hours a week. I'm making a social work salary over here, just to be completely transparent with everyone. I've got a social work salary over here. I've got the Pokemon business, which isn't sustainable. I've made a lot of money, right? But that's in part because the market went insane. Like that isn't, I think part of what people miss is like, that isn't sustainable. And I think some people think that that's sustainable. But part of the reason why you see all of these Pokemon guys selling booster boxes or having a Patreon is because that's where they make a lot of their money. And that's where they make that consistent money. It's not like predicting the market and just buying things and then flipping it. It's why there's this whole thing. And I get why there's this anger. And I think we shouldn't trust people like me. I mean, you shouldn't trust people very easily around this sort of thing. Because it becomes a sort of thing where, like, if you were making so much money investing in Pokemon, why do you need to make money teaching us about investing in Pokemon? And it's a really good question. And it's the same thing that you should ask about everyone or people selling you boxes and these types of things. And, what I will tell you is that it's because it's consistent cash flow, and because you can take that money and then invest it and put it back into those things and make more money off of it. And it's because the hours that I take putting into this channel, learning about cards that I am not going to buy, invest in, learning about sets I'm not going to buy and invest in, is time away from me just focusing on getting the best deals, making the connections, buying and flipping, and all that sort of activity.
Yeah. So it just takes away from your time to do whatever you want to do. Right. I mean, technically this is what you want to do, but I know from making videos, you've got other content creators on here. They know what it's like. It's a lot of effort. It's a lot of time. It was a completely different world for me when I was telecommuting, because early on I was telecommuting and it seemed like, I commute an hour and a half, hour 45 every day. Taking that away and just being home, I had a lot more time to do research. And now that I'm going back to work, it's like, wow, it is a lot of time and effort. Definitely.
Yeah. It's this weird thing. It's like where I feel like I'm constantly giving, like to all of my clients as a therapist, constantly giving to this audience, to the Pokemon community, constantly saying things that make people upset and that people don't want to hear, but I think is the truth and is going to help them. And it's like, there's a lot of giving involved in that. And it's so hard for me to take. It's so, it's like, and it's so awkward for me and uncomfortable.
People don't have to sign up for it, right?
Yeah. But it's the type of thing. Yeah. But it's the type of thing of like where I'll probably take away one of the lives to do that, to transition that. Yeah. And people don't have to sign up for it. Yeah. I don't know.
It'll be all right. Don't worry so much.
This is what I'm like, guys. This is what I'm like. You're getting the honest Jake. Oh
man.
Yeah. I'm so, I so don't want to take advantage of people and I hate being reliant on other people, dude. Like I like the self-reliance. And so, yeah, it's weird, but it's a learning experience. Okay. So you guys can let me know and think about it. I'm really interested to hear feedback, particularly from people who have been here since the beginning. If that's going to leave a bad taste in your mouth, tell me why. If you're interested in something like that, tell me why. I do think that I do know that private chat will be, I think, very, very useful for people. Like you're going to get exactly what I think, or a lot. I have to figure out exactly what it's going to be and I'll explain it to people, before next month, but I'm going to be giving you guys, my like honest takes on all the new cards, on everything that's coming out. My honest takes on who I think is pumping things up, moving things around, my honest takes on where how prices arrived at these points for different sorts of things. I can actually give you a little bit of a sneak peek into like my analytics and how I break down numbers and how I think about numbers and make those decisions. So I'll end it there, but Thank you for giving me your input as well, Swami. Appreciate that. And as someone who's like, I feel like has gotten the message of this channel the whole way through, I just wanted to run it by someone like you too and just get your opinion.
Yeah, I mean, no, I'm not going to say what I was going to say. We can just,
you could say,
yeah, there's a lot of people making a lot of money. If Jake at Pokenomics can make a buck or two, I'm not going to scoff. Okay. I saw plenty of people that had no business making as much as they did make a lot of money. So yeah, no worries for me. I mean,
all right. I see nobody just send a super chat. Thank you so much. Please do not send me a bunch of super chats because you're pitying me right now. And I know you're probably not pitying, you're probably supporting, but what you can really do is, this is what I want, guys. I don't want any handouts. I want this channel to be amazing for you to actually get value and for you to pay an amount that you feel good about each month. I don't want you to feel ripped off. I don't want you to feel taken advantage of. And I don't want to feel like you have to pay me if you're not getting value. Okay. So I need to earn it somehow. I just do think that I've like probably earned way more than I've gotten back probably for so many people. So that's kind of how I feel about it. And we can leave it there. So let's jump into some Patreon questions. All right. So first question, hey Jake, I watched your latest live chat. I love Team Rocket and Jungle Fossil. I was unclear on your point about those three sets. Do you think there will be a massive influx of PSA cards in those sets getting graded? I see that the prices went from $30 for most holo rares in those sets for PSA 9 to highs of around 400. So I'm not sure if we're talking about unlimited, probably with those prices, I would assume. But I guess outside of like the first edition Charizard or the Snorlax, that would probably fit for a lot of the cards still for PSA 9. I want those cards, but would you advise against spending more than 85% of the current value of those graded holo cards of these sets? I know you don't like to give specific investment advice, but I'm a little wary of those sets being ones that big collectors have a ton of product in the PSA backlog. Your videos have absolutely saved me from channels like, and I'm not going to read the names, they said some names. I really do my best not to do that, although it will slip out from time to time. Because they've given me made false claims about the cards, didn't really provide them actually like that sort of info. To add on, I guess if you were to answer this, if some of the older vintage sets might have an influx of new cards, does it make sense to try and purchase PSA 9s with the idea of a retrace in prices happening? Or do you feel that those cards still are a better long-term investment than allocating that money towards modern product, even if there may be a 30 to 40% retrace in prices? So I think the majority of modern cards, so certainly all modern set cards, there's going to be quite a bit of risk in it. Now, versus some of these PSA 9s from even Jungle, Fossil, and Rocket, particularly in first edition, that even though those sets were by far the most WotC printed sets, particularly Rocket and Fossil, there's still probably going to be quite a bit less risk in those prices because a lot of those 9s and 10s have now already been graded. We don't know what percentage, but probably a decent amount. Whereas if we flip it to the modern side, I don't think there's a single modern set from XY Evolution on that has even probably 10% of the cards graded yet. Okay, so there's going to be a huge amount more supply from all those sets. Now, what we don't know is how many of these modern sets is how much of these modern sets are really out there. So I do think that in 5 to 10 years, we're probably going to look back and we're going to understand that some of these modern sets were actually printed less than other modern sets. And that some modern cards, particularly modern cards that are difficult to pull, difficult to grade, and have a high demand because they have amazing art or a great Pokemon, even the cards within sets is probably going to have some value and potentially be an investment. But we have no idea right now. Nobody has any sense of how much is out there, how much is going to come back. And so that's where all the risk is versus vintage, where we have some sense that at least, a decent percentage or portion, or portion has come back so far. Right. So that's one important piece. Now, within modern, there are things like promo cards. There are things that have different types of releases. And there might be less of some of these promo cards or some of these staff type cards that are modern than there are of some of these vintage hollow nines left. We don't know. So these are the types of things that you want to think about. And it's why there's so much risk in making those types of purchases. I think your feeling though, like, is now the right time to buy, or should I wait for it to retrace more? I'm going to give you guys an example of what I'll be giving in Patreon. Okay. So this is my, in that private Q&A. So this is something that I would say, this type of thing. So what I would say is that what I am doing, and this may or may not be right. Okay. But what I am doing is I am waiting on nines from those types of sets, because just like you said here, I think that the market is cooling. I think that there's fear and panic, and it's good to buy in those times. So I do think starting to watch the prices and wait for a time to get back in is smart and very reasonable, just as you're kind of alluding to in this question. But I think that there's going to be more supply coming back, particularly of Team Rocket and Fossil. But Team Rocket's even the worst. And if you track the population reports, you're going to see that there's so many nines coming back from Team Rocket still. Team Rocket First Edition all day. There are booster boxes being opened up all the time still of that. There are tons of that product left. And I think that with more supply coming back from PSA, and I think the Pokemon market may be cooling off and maybe even dipping a little bit in popularity, might come back up, might come back down, but stay within a range. I would expect those prices to come down a little bit more. I think people are going to continue to panic on some of those things. I think there are going to be a lot more 8s and 7s as well, which I think will also act as a weight on the 9s. Potentially as a kind of pull the 9s down even further, because people can get the 7s and 8s for cheap. Now, am I right about any of that? I don't know. That's my best guess. I do think that buying 10s, like very rare 10s, if they drop, those are the ones that I think you can make the best case for buying. So like I bought a Jungle PSA 10 First Edition Clefable 2 weeks ago in the PWCC auction. Now, do I think that card could go down another 30, 40% if another one comes up onto market? Absolutely. So I'm prepared to lose 30 to 40% of the value on that card. And I'm willing to give you guys, this is the type of transparency I'll be giving in Patreon. I'll be willing to take that 30 to 40% risk because I think we may have already hit the bottom on a card like that, because there are only 62 in the world. And because only 2 have been graded this year with all of the Jungle that was opened up. And I just don't know how many more of those are going to be graded. And I don't know how many more are going to hit the market. And if no more hit the market during this cooling off period, I might have bought the cheapest one and it might start going back up. And so that's the way that I would buy and sell right now. And when I tell you guys that I'm looking again, I'm interested and intrigued with the prices, I'm not buying aggressively, and I'm not buying things that aren't rare or things that I don't think are going to keep hitting the market. I think anything where there's like 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 cards a week of that card selling right now and being flipped on the market, that's stuff that I wouldn't be rushing into buying. Okay. That's the stuff that I think will continue. That selling pressure will continue to push it down. But the items that you aren't seeing every week, even every couple weeks, like that Clefable, there's one Clefable on eBay only in PSA 10 First Edition. The guy's asking $25,000 for it, right? Silly, ridiculous price. I bought it for $2,300, and just 2 months ago it was going for $6,000. So for me, now there's, but there's still big risk in buying that Fossil card, and I understand that I could lose 40% more on that before it comes back up, and I understand that it may never come back up. That is the reality of putting money into collectibles. And part of what works for me is that I like that card. I love Jungle, and I also want that card. And I'm comfortable in living within my means that I can afford to buy that and take that risk and for it to come down. So that's all my broader thinking around that. So that's the type of stuff that I will share. That's way more in depth than I've ever shared on this channel, since its inception. So hopefully
I got a little take. So
yeah, please.
I think, the hype is coming down, and yeah, we're seeing the market kind of correct over the last few months. I personally am just waiting. I saw what the lockdowns and stimulus did to the market And I'm just waiting to see the other side of that. It just so happens to coincide with, you know, a lot of these graded cards getting flushed out. You know, a lot of cards by then. I'm going to really be probably buying in January is my thoughts right now. If you know, student loans, the drop dead date on that is October. If that sticks, if unemployment sticks in September, mortgage moratoriums, all these things, I'm kind of looking at stuff outside of the hobby to give me the green light to get back in the hobby. But I think he's actually talking about first edition. If you're talking about Jungle and Fossil, and first edition, like I'm looking at this Flareon first edition 9, it's got 589, and it might have a little bit more than that. This is Pokemon price, 589. So yeah. 589, the last sale was 375. You know, it's personally, I don't think that's crazy of a price. I'm still waiting just to see, like the first edition has a higher population of PSA 10s than the unlimited Flareon.
Yeah.
So there's still, I wouldn't be surprised if the unlimited Flareon started to increase in population. But to me, when I see a card that comes out in a modern product that will sell for $1,000 plus, and it's going to have 2,000 plus 10s, I would not be too worried about buying this Flareon, right? But I am still just waiting, trying to stay disciplined personally. But I don't think you're gonna burn yourself or anything.
I think when you're trying to figure out what to buy right now, and again, this is the type of stuff that I'll talk about on Patreon. The type of, you know, this is why price, actually knowing what the hell you're talking about and not just firing blindly at things, is so important. So understanding that what has retraced the most and what cards have retraced the most. And so if we use my Clefable example, that Clefable has retraced from $6,000 all the way down to $2,300. Okay. Even though it's only a Pop 62, it's the rarest card in that jungle set. Now, if we look at Neo, where there are a lot of rare, really difficult to pull cards, right? PSA 10s. Or if we look at Team Rocket, like the one card that hasn't retraced very much is the Magneton, the lower pop card. But now over here on Jungle, we have a more popular Pokemon, arguably, or equally in Clefable, that's dropped. That is the lowest pop card from that. That is actually, I think there's going to be probably less of that card when all is said and done than even the Magneton potentially. Why are you paying the same price for the Magneton when that hasn't gone down? But we're afraid and fearful on this Clefable, and it's because that Magneton got talked up by the YouTubers as the rarest card for months. Everyone was talking about how great Rocket is, and you've never heard anyone talk about the Clefable. No one knows the Clefable is so low pop. So this is how you make money in Pokemon, or how you don't lose money, or how you people don't know what they're saying, you know, and all these, like, this is the bluntness you're going to get.
No, there's a lot of that.
And all of the narratives that are created, so many of the narratives are not based on the actual data. Okay. So why I've been telling people this whole time, Neo's not going to retrace as much. The biggest retraces are going to be Rocket, Fossil, Jungle. The gyms, what retrace the most? Rocket, Fossil, Jungle, the gyms, Unlimited, right? Base, you know, base first edition, right? All these things are the things that retraced a lot, not the Neos. The Neos really didn't retrace. A lot went up during the same period. A lot of the, you know, the world's promo cards, the trophy cards, the difficult, the rarer promos, the non-TCG, that stuff is actually sustained in price in a lot of cases. And some has even gone up because of that rarity. So now you want to take the lessons of that. People are not buying things rationally still. They're buying things based on narratives. So people don't even know the pop reports of things. They hear that Neo is rare. So they think it's rare, and it is actually rare. But there are other things I don't talk about that are extremely rare. that aren't as obvious. And I don't share those narratives with people because I am taking advantage of me knowing that without sharing these narratives publicly for other people to then go use or then to create. And so that is how. Now there's tons of risk in that, and I do think that the safest things to do, if you believe in the long-term future of the Pokemon market, which I do personally, Swami, who knows? I completely agree with your analysis on the Flareon, for example. Like, let's think it through. This is the first appearance of English Flareon in first edition. It's a beautiful card from an extremely expensive box. Okay. There could be thousands and thousands of nines. I don't think that's going to be enough. You know, when we look at comic books and we think about how many Spider-Man, first appearance of Spider-Man, comics there are, maybe Flareon is a little bit similar to, in terms of popularity, in terms of,
look at the new Evolution set.
Yeah. And so maybe not quite because there aren't quite as many superheroes on that level, to be fair, but Pokemon's probably a much bigger brand. There are probably a lot more people interested in Pokemon. There are many tens and tens and tens and tens of thousands of those Superman comics all graded, right? Or excuse me, Spider-Man comics. So this is the type of stuff where you bring in knowledge, you see how price got established over many years on other things, and you say, what is going to stand the test of time beyond all these nonsense YouTubers telling you to buy this or that this is the newest set and it's the best set of all time and everyone's going to love it. It's first appearances. It's the stuff that people can't argue with. You don't need to create a narrative. Someone doesn't need to tell you to want that. You want it. It's the first one. That's how all these other collector hobbies have worked. So that's where I'd be betting on long term. And when you're betting long term, you don't have to be as concerned about getting it at the exact right spot. Now, if you buy that now, do I think you could lose 50% of your money in the next 6 months to a year or over the next 3 years? 100% you could. That happens all the time, right? And that could be because of macroeconomic effects. It could be because of people going back outside, leaving the hobby, stimulus checks, the stuff, and not printing more stimulus checks, the stuff that Swami and I have talked in depth on both of our channels, right? There are all those risks. But do I think that that's a decent buy for the long term? And if you really want that card now, it's perfect. It's reasonable to buy. Yes.
Like the Flareon.
Yeah.
It was going for $100 in 2019. Now that's not the $30 that you have been looking at, but do I think there's a floor above $100? I think there's a floor somewhere above where we were in 2019.
Yeah.
You never
I
know.
completely agree.
The world could blow up and maybe there isn't a floor, right? But I would say there's a floor above 2019 somewhere.
Yeah.
And so if you came off of 350 down to 150, 200, yeah, you lost $100. You could say it sounds big when you're talking about percentages, 33%. But really that's just a nice takeout. There's a steakhouse dinner with your girl or your wife or whatever. So it's not the end of the world. And I think you would appreciate it still, even if it dropped $100. But
yeah, absolutely. 100% Swami.
Yeah. So,
and I would not be buying single graded cards to make money though. So right. In general. And so I think where you really take this to the next level, guys, is that you apply all of the knowledge that Swami and I just dropped, and you look for large lots where you're going to make that percentage on many cards at once. And you look for people who don't want to do the work and don't want to put in the effort. So you're making like multiple margins there. You're making the margins on the bulk. You're making the margins on the fact that you're going to grade some of it. You're going to make the margins on all of that risk that you're taking on.
If you're making money, you are buying and selling all the time. If you're trying to buy a Flareon and hold on to it, you might make a ton of money. There might be another 2020 event for Pokemon in 2040, and Pokemon keeps crushing it, keeps staying, number one brand in the world. The Fed keeps printing money, and in 2040, that Flareon might be $5,000, right? And you had done that in so many different places, but you're not going to see any money anytime soon.
Yeah.
With that. that collecting mentality, which is totally fine. And it's totally great. I love having cards and looking at them and knowing that the value's there. And over time, I personally do believe, even though I still think we're going to come down, I think over time we're going to be somewhere above. If I had to guess, my belief in Pokemon, this could totally not happen, but I would say that the Flareon 9 would sell higher in 20 years than it would today. Now that is a crapshoot. I'm telling you, the world could blow up. Pokemon could have some bad press. Who knows? Pokemon could just get kicked out of popularity.
Yeah.
If I had to guess. And so I think you'd be okay, right? If you're trying to hold it.
If the same people are in the hobby that are here today, that are still here then, it'll 100% be more valuable, quite a bit more valuable. Yeah. And so whereas modern product will be less valuable than it is right now. If the exact same people are in the hobby, I would argue that a lot of that modern product is less valuable in 20 years. And that's because we've only had 5 to 10% of it graded. And I don't think there's enough people right now in this hobby to absorb all that product that's going to come back. I think it's going to take waves of new people and more people, which I think will happen.
Yeah.
You know, I think that if I had to guess, I'm very bullish on Pokemon. I think you're going to have a lot of naysayers and a lot of negativity. And I think it's so funny that you and I were like got labeled as it's when, you know, and this is partially our fault of saying we're bearish, but it's like we're bearish because we understand how irrational the prices are and how people aren't making smart purchase or informed purchases and how many people are buying out of crazy speculation rather than really wanting the items and wanting to hold the items. But in the long run, I very much believe that there's going to be hundreds of thousands of people like us in this hobby, you know, in the long run. And I think this is going to be a cherished and loved hobby, and we're just in the beginning. So in that sense, I'm very bullish on the values and even more importantly on the fun and the community. And, you know, part of why I want to do this and build this for the long run is, and I want to build this channel the right way is, and with people who know me and where I, you know, and we know each other, is because like, I want to do this for the foreseeable future, you know, with people who want to be here for the foreseeable future and care about community.
I want people to have a good experience, right? And that's, I think if you have a good experience in Pokemon, what I saw was there were so many new people that came in that I just wanted them to have a good experience and not get burned on a bad purchase early on. That makes them say, this is a joke. I don't want to do this. But yeah, I mean, I am a long-term believer. I've been trying to figure out these prices for the whole year. And that is why I've kind of come across a lot of things that tell me not to believe in some of the prices. Just looking at what happened, looking at what happened in the world, looking at, there was a lot of content that drove. I remember selling a card. I post a card. 3 days later, I sell a card $400 under market. Why? Because there was some waifu video that came out that I didn't see, that I hadn't changed my waifu price. So I sell this waifu at, I don't know, 40, 50 bucks. When I should have sold it at 450 because of one video. And I'm thinking, there is no way this is real. You know what I mean? And when you see things like that, when you sell a Tyranitar PSA 10 for $1,200 and 2 weeks later, 2 weeks, you sell a CGC 9 for $1,100, it's tough to believe in those prices. But do I think a 10 could be 2,000 in 20 years? Definitely. But
here, celebrities were buying items for $50,000 they didn't even know anything about.
No
right?
clue.
Transparently.
Must be fun.
No idea, right? And part of it is they have a lot of money, but those were establishing prices and people were feeling like that was the market. Like that's the Pokemon collector. No, that's crazy, right? That's a fad. And these guys are leaving the hobby. A lot of them have already left, right? You know, and it's,
there was a mentality, right? Like I would track my higher end cards that I sold. What did they do with them? You know, a lot of them posted it before it even hit the mailbox. I'm telling you, and doubled the price and just waited on it. And you know what? A lot of those did well. Like that 10 Tyranitar, I guarantee you he sold it for 1,800. Guarantee. He put it up for 2,400. And I guarantee if he didn't sell at 2,400, I bet you anything he took an offer for way more than he bought it for. And that person is left holding the bag because they try to double it. You know, I just saw a lot of that, and there was not a lot of confidence to be had. From just my experience in the hobby, I had when you would buy a modern product, it would go up. I don't know if I ever had any modern product other than Flashfire like actually double in price before 2020. And I've been purchasing every product since 2014, every single product. I'd buy 2 booster boxes. I don't know if that second one ever doubled in price.
And I don't know how to scream it any louder. The prices on the modern product and on the modern booster boxes are not built from real demand and not built from real value. It's what was happening on modern product before this. That was being built up on real, anything that was moving before all of this was real collector interest driving those markets. And so now those items that were moving up decently have accelerated and have certainly gone beyond what they should. But it doesn't mean that the fundamentals of the item, which first made them valuable and drove them up, aren't there and aren't going to sustain them in the long run. But there are other items in the hobby that had no fundamentals, no interest in, and they've just been highly speculated on and moved up in price and pushed by YouTubers. And I promise you guys, I'll stake the rep. It's going to correct, because that type of stuff, the numbers are what matter. Like numbers matter. People's opinions don't matter in the short run. People's emotions don't matter. It's a very emotional time. People have lots of emotions. Doesn't matter. What matters is the numbers, and what matters is the psychology behind how sustainable the psychology is, which is the way that I would think about it. So the psychology of that price, the comfort that people feel at that price, is it sustainable at that price? Okay. So when an item goes up really quickly and goes up 10x, 20x in a short amount of time, all the people who weren't buying that item when it was 20 times cheaper look at that item and they say one of two things. They say, I'm going to buy that item because I'm going to get rich and I'm going to take it to the moon, which is unstable buying. The other people look at that item and say, I've absolutely no interest in this, and they just avoid it. And they're the people that actually, the people like us are the people that actually will build the market and build the confidence in these cards. And so the cards that we're buying that massive amounts of people like us are buying are going to lift the Flareons of the world, these types of set cards or the trophy cards or, these vintage Japanese cards.
They come out with modern product every year. They come out with cards every year, trophy cards every year. Yep. They have highly exclusive promos. Like you had to go to some event, and like the Lily Guzma, I think like a year ago, there are these promos that they come out with every year that will do well. Like I'm not saying all modern, these Nessa boxes, these Evolution set boxes, where the box itself is something that I would love. This has gone up. This product, it was a modern product not that long ago. It came with a Japanese exclusive promo. So it came with a card. The card came with this. It's not like a hugely printed thing, but they come out with that every year. Kanazawa, the Nessa box is pretty cool. It didn't have a promo in it. I'm not saying modern isn't investable. If what you're saying is investable, it can go up, right? Like Magic, modern booster boxes have been going up, but it's nothing like crazy. You know, it's tough to describe. I watched modern product English booster boxes not go anywhere for years, anywhere. And it's not just evolutions.
And some of these booster boxes were not unsellable, let alone, and this is when I talk about the fundamentals. It's understanding that evolutions is going to get so boring. Like, and so much of the hype and fun is all about the money. It's not, people don't want those cards, like who have been here a while. If you can get base set 2, you know, legendary, whatever, you don't want the modern copies of it. It doesn't make any sense. And so there is so many base set unlimited Charizards at PSA right now, like the vintage ones. Okay. Like there may be enough to go around of those. And then we're going to add on 100,000 evolution Charizards. Okay. 100,000 graded evolution Charizards. Now, when all that hits the market, what do you think is going to happen to the psychology around that box? The feeling that people are going to have, you know, and this is just one example where something like Flashfire steadily went up. Now there are issues with Flashfire and the fundamentals. If you look at the screen promos, steadily went up. You look at Mario Pikachu, always steadily went up. Now it exploded, and all those things are overvalued, you know, for sure. But there are fundamentals there that made them desirable immediately to people and connect with people immediately as an investable vehicle. Okay. And so what happened was, and this is also a really important lesson, guys, the stuff that moved first this year, that's in large part, not completely, but in large part, a lot of the more investable items, the stuff that moved first. Now, outside of base set first edition, because that went specifically with Logan Paul. Although if people actually pay attention, first set base set unlimited in general, and base set first edition was actually one a little bit later, right? The first sets that really went up the most were like the Neos, like the types of items that were really the most undervalued at the time in the market. Okay. The Neos, the gyms, what else went up very first? And then Jungle Fossil went up, and then finally base set went up. And that kind of corresponded with Logan coming into the hobby. And so how you should apply this and think about this as a savvy investor is during downtimes or during times when things aren't being hyped and everyone isn't having this irrational fear of missing out and making irrational purchases based on poor information, what are the items that moved up? Those are the items that have the best fundamentals, that have the natural collector interest, that people went there naturally. These other items, it was like, well, all the money has been made in those items, so I can't make any more money in those items. So now I'm going to make a video about evolutions as the best set to invest in, Burning Shadows, all these modern things that had never moved up. And then all those moved up because of those videos, because everyone was having that same feeling of we missed out on we missed out on the vintage. 2, the vintage is too expensive and we can't afford it. And so we're all going to push and file into these modern products that aren't going to sustain themselves. So unfortunately for most people out there, they're in those products because that's what they could afford. And it's all the crypto guys and the sports guys in those products because they came later, and the easy money, the money was already made on the stuff that was actually fundamentally investable. And you see the exact same thing in every market, guys. It's the exact same stuff from market to market. When you look around, study other markets. Okay. The mania, the stuff that's ridiculous is the stuff that moves towards the end of the mania. Now, there are examples where that isn't necessarily true, because with a lot more awareness also can bring eyes on new things and people can become aware. So I think new markets, for example, I think Top Zone was undervalued, even though that moved very late. It's way overshot, you know, Monster Card-S, like some of this stuff, but
ease of entry, right?
Yeah.
Because what you're saying is
that too. That's another important point.
Because it would get to this level where it's not even accessible to really make money in this little area of the market anymore. So then now we're going to go over here and pump up waifus or pump up this or pump up that.
Yeah.
I saw that.
Yeah. And let's think about how this works, guys. It's also the YouTubers trying to look smart and trying to come up with new content. So they're talking about new things that other people haven't talked about before. It's boring. It isn't sexy saying the good things are the good things. It's sexy coming out and saying, here's something that no one has thought of before. Yeah. Here's a ridiculous idea. You know,
they weren't wrong a lot of times, but it would just.
What were they right and wrong about, though?
That?
What do you mean they weren't wrong?
So like go up. TBJ and Waifus.
Oh, okay. That's a good example. Waifus are cool cards.
They're great. I have actually really always liked the full art frames.
Me too.
And not just the Waifus. There's some cool dudes in there too. Some man love in there. But if I literally had a video in
trainers are also great. They're part of our history. Like Pokemon have always been overvalued compared to some trainers.
Oh,
like Misty, first edition base set, Professor Oak.
Yeah.
I think this stuff all the time. I'm like, it's Professor Oak. It's the first Professor Oak card. It's Professor Oak, guys.
Yes, it's the guy, Gary.
Like, he's as important as like the starters.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, please. I'm sorry.
It wasn't wrong necessarily.
Yeah.
Like, I have a video in June, and I showed a $1 sale for a PSA 10.
Yeah.
It was either Misty's Determination or Misty's, the one with the hearts on it. It's a full art trainer. It's $1. It's sold for $1. He wasn't wrong. They were slept on a little bit. Are they $500 cards? I doubt it now that we're all sending them in. So, but then and I haven't really watched TBJ in a long time, and
yeah,
I don't really even know his examples. It's one of the reasons I undersold a card for $400 because I stopped watching. But I don't know if he took credit for that. I know there's a lot of advice out there that makes there's no fundamentals on that made people a ton of money if they have sold, and
if they've sold. And I can tell you the people who sold were the people who realized those items didn't have fundamentals. Most people are still holding those items because they still think they're great.
Yeah. Yeah. But then I saw people take credit for that. Right. Yeah. And so if you're going to take credit for it, hopefully those people, it's all going to play out. It really is.
And I just want to make it clear, I don't want, the reason I'm fiery is because I don't want anyone to lose a lot of money. Mm-hmm. And I don't want people to be misled. There are plenty of modern Pokemon cards that I think are gorgeous art that I like to collect. Now, do I selfishly want modern to be cheaper? Yes, because then we can open it and freaking enjoy it and have a hobby. I mean, it's stupid. There's also that whole part, but putting that aside, it's stupid. It's just stupid that everything modern needs to be so expensive and that all these scalpers are buying from other scalpers and flipping it to this scalper. And it's stupid. And people have lost their minds. Okay. Just to be complete, we're being really blunt today, that people are willing to pay this much money for things thinking that it's going to be $5,000 in 10 years and going to make them some sort of 10 times return, on a massively, massively produced product where everyone's doing the exact same thing.
Yes, there's so many reasons why it's unnecessary, right? Yeah. If you're a big money maker, go ahead and buy it. No worries. If you're buying it for the reasons that you think it's going to go up, printers are coming. I guarantee you they're already printing more already, even though they're not having these new printers. Yes, it sucks. I love opening modern, and it's something that keeps me in because I don't always make big purchases. And modern is like a nice, easy way to stay engaged and stay having fun. And look at this EV set coming out. I mean, I've been wanting hand-drawn, less CGI, full art cards for since, I don't know, a long time. And we're about to get that. I'm kind of excited. I go online and the Evolutions box is on eBay for $666. And it's like, I bet I can find a place for cheaper because I know how to buy a Japanese, but it's just like, it's going to change. It's going to change. And then when it does change, when we can open product, that is going to be the worst collectible product ever, because it's going to be printed so much to meet demand, so that we're happy just opening it and having fun, that the population on it is going to be through the roof. So it's like this whole game of what do you want, and
Yeah. And if you're a modern investor, I am your best friend. Like, if you really believe in it, we're your best friends, because we're the ones who are going to make people and push people to actually open the product and enjoy the product, and not just for the product as an investment. And that's the only way it's going to be valuable. So there's this, people don't believe it. They are angry because they understand that it's all a narrative that's been created, and that there's way too much of it. And it's only people needing to believe that it's very valuable that keeps it up. And so when you have people like us come out and say that it isn't, that's what's happening, is very threatening. It's very threatening to have lots of money in that. And that's a sign you should sell it, So it's just blunt.
I'm selling.
So it's okay. And I've told you, I have a lot of this stuff, and a lot of it's a PSA right now. It's going to come back, and I'm going to sell it right away. And if you guys want to buy from me, if you think I'm a big fool, I'll be happy to sell it to you, So it's.
Mason says, you have a super chat, by the way, from Hisoka, but Mason says massively produced, but yet there's still not enough though. Exactly, Mason. Exactly.
Yeah. And I do not believe for one moment that the most popular Pokemon cards are going to be the cards that are being produced right now. I just don't believe it. So this demand argument, because if we look at it, right, it's like, well, this vintage stuff is going to have a lot less, right? Very clearly. And anyone who disagrees with that doesn't know what they're talking. They're completely wrong. Okay. Based on the numbers already, and the numbers we're seeing incoming weekly from like, Hidden Fates and Evolutions, for example. Okay. So now you need to say, well, the demand is going to have to be much more for the modern. People are going to have to like the modern much, much more. And all I can tell you is look at what happened in comic books. The art styles got crazier and crazier and wilder and shinier and shinier. And what happened? It all blended together, and it became not special.
Dragon Ball Super? Sorry, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Oh, comic books.
Okay, well, Dragon Ball Super.
Yeah.
Dragon Ball Super,
and we'll see what happens with Dragon Ball Super.
The commons are like.
I know. And what happens is people get tired. Like, people from that era, they thought they loved those things, and now they look back at those comics. You can interview them, you can talk to them. They say, we look back and we're like, we just want the clean, straightforward, simplistic, rare first printings of things, first art designs. If this hobby is going to make it as an established hobby, it's going to be the Wizards of the Coast stuff. It's going to be the first sets that are very valuable. And what we're going to see is that those sets, if this makes it, this is my prediction, we're going to see those cards going for hundreds of thousands of dollars. And we're going to see the modern of today going for about the same or less in some cases as it is right now. And that is a radical claim. People in Pokemon, there isn't even anyone making that claim. And that's what scares me. People, like, even the bearish people think that modern's going to go up, but it's just going to have like small returns, right? They say it's going to move like magic, with it's going to double in 5 years, triple, double in 10 years. I'm not so sure.
Well, so the vintage needs the modern too, right? There needs.
I don't think so.
I think so. I don't think if you don't have all these people wanting to buy the modern stuff, if you don't have this craze, because that's the majority of the 350,000 that watched Logan Paul's opening, right? I think the majority of people, right? There's only 500 Flareons. And I know collectors like Pokemon Classics, he's got multiple, he's got one person has one of a lot of different first edition cards, let's say. What I'm trying to get at is if Pokemon dies, then I don't see Charizard. I could personally right now, I see Charizard going to 1 million in however many years. I really think if Patrick Mahomes is going for 5 million, I think Charizard's going to get to 1 million. And I wouldn't be surprised if it hits even higher than that one day. but it's going to do it off the back of Pokemon continuing to be this whirlwind. And the way Pokemon does it is through modern. Now, I'm not saying modern is investable, right? I literally sat on product for years that never went anywhere.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is Pokemon might change. They may look at this. We may have such a backlash. When you have 100,000 Evo Charizards out there and the price comes so far down and we have this massive backlash against modern, because it's going to happen. Pokemon might be in the same situation all those sports card creators were in the 90s, and they flipped the switch. They created the scarcity within the cards by numbering the cards, different prisms, different colors, alternative arts. I know people really don't like that idea in Pokemon. It's completely doable without affecting the TCG, but you're gonna need collectors. It's tough. Look at Score. There's some heavy people in Score, but I guarantee you, well, guarantee's a bad word, but I don't see any Score cards doing a Charizard first edition PSA 10. I don't see Score getting there. Now, it could. Dragon Ball Z is an amazing brand that just will not die.
Sure.
It just keeps going. Goku is an angel and Vegeta is a god now. Like, okay, we're just going to go on for eternity. But do you get what I'm saying? Like, because Score died.
Yeah, for sure. I want to provide. So, I mean, Score is sort of like WotC to
DBS.
Yeah, exactly. You know, it's the same type of thing because WotC died too, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you look at comic books, the $1 million price points that we're seeing today, part of it's a bubble it's a bubble in all collectibles and everything's crazy, right? For sure. Alternative assets are overvalued right now. But the reason those prices got to millions of dollars and the other comics are worthless and they sit in boxes rotting, like many of these cards are going to be, is because not because they keep making comics. It's actually because of the movies. It's actually because the whole world that's been created, and it's because people's relationships were so deep initially, and it sustained itself for a number of years. And there's so few of those things that you really only need 30, 40, 50, 60 crazy, hardcore multi-millionaires or a few billionaires in there to be buying them, and they're all gone, right? Yeah. There just aren't enough. And so that's where that rarity piece comes in. And also where it just needs to be sustained in some other way when we talk about new generations coming in. So we don't need the cards. In my opinion, we could have the video games. We could have, I think it's more about, this is my personal opinion. I think it's more about, there are certain people who are collectors and there are certain people who aren't. And the collectors are going to collect everything. I
do, right?
Yeah. Like, and collect everything related to it, whether or not they played with the cards or not.
You need to get to Hisoka's super chat, but Hisoka.
Okay, we can get to that.
I was just talking to him about Yu Yu Hakusho, and this binder I got for, I don't know, $40, $50, and it's like some cards are $1,000, $2,000 in this, right? But Yu Yu Hakusho, it's done, right? The CCG is done, the story is done. They might, maybe it gets rebooted, right? But I'm just saying, I think there needs to be a fervor, right? Why aren't these guys going crazy? These little toys.
Yeah.
Because there's not a bunch of YouTube videos on the new toy that's coming out, but there's great videos done on the new Evolution set. I'm just saying, I see, a billionaire can pay whatever, but if there's not modern there to make that billionaire feel cool to spend $1 million, he's not going to spend $1 million. He's going to spend 10,000. Right.
Sure. But you bring up a really great point, which is what makes something collectible. Are those toys not collectible and are cards collectible? Maybe not.
The toys have they do actually make variants of these toys that are.
Here we go. Can you pull them?
Can you pull them? No.
Is there a gambling? Is there like, which one am I going to get from this box?
No.
That makes something more collectible.
Yeah.
So it's the elements, they're elements. It's extremely smart. And the Pokemon company is extremely smart. So first of all, Pokemon are collectible. It's part of what's the genius behind Pokemon. You collect them all. It's ingrained in the games. You're collecting Pokemon, right?
Yeah.
Now cards are collectible because they're all numbered and you have a certain number in a set and you need to complete that set. There are different rarities, which add a difference to it. There are hollows and non-hollows. There are the cards you want. There are the cards you don't want. There are the strong cards or the weak cards. Creating variety makes something collectible. And also being able to complete something makes something collectible. So if people don't know how many toys there are of those, if they don't have different types of the toys, some rare, some less rare, you can make toys collectible for sure by copying some of these elements. It's
very small, right? Like this Gengar. There's like 3 different versions of this Gengar. This one's like a see-through. They have done like little things, but there's just not a lot of fervor for these guys.
Yeah, and I agree with you. Part of it can always be influencers, right? But that's huge, and we've seen a huge part of that this year. We've been talking about on both of our channels forever about just like the clear influencer power this year and social media, and there's a reason why people are paying David Dobrik millions of dollars for like a 5-second ad placement. It's because there are like millions of young impressionable people who watch David Dobrik and millions of young people who, like, whenever they see that, they're like, oh, it's so impactful and powerful. So I think when you're thinking about this though, and this is the way that I would think about it, is there are the intangibles. Not necessarily intangibles. Some things are intangibles, but there are the intrinsic qualities of the underlying asset that are going to make it collectible or not collectible. So appealing, right? These intrinsic qualities that are going to make the item appealing or not appealing. Then you throw on an influencer pushing it, which is going to sell a certain amount. Then you throw on the greed, which has nothing to do with the intrinsic underlying asset, but just the idea that we can make money on this, which raises the prices up, right? Now, probably it's all going to come back to the intrinsics. And this is what a value investor believes, is that all like that stuff isn't sustainable outside of the awareness piece. So people being more aware of those toys because an influencer shows them those toys is going to make people more aware of them. And then they're going to be able to judge the intrinsic value for themselves in terms of, are these collectible? Are these enjoyable? Am I getting pleasure from this? Is there a rarity? Is there a fun? So when you have a great product, you need to market it, you need to sell, you need to get it out to people so they can see that it's great. And then when they see that it's great, it can then take off. You do need both those elements, but the two things. One, you need those intrinsic qualities, and you need to look for items. If you're going to invest in something, it has those, that the underlying asset has those intrinsic value properties and qualities. And two, you have to understand, why are people buying and continuing to buy? Are they continuing to buy because they're in a cult led by a social influencer? And they're not thinking, and you ask them questions and they have no idea what they're buying. They just heard this person say. I mean, people are, it's crazy. Yeah, it's a crazy hive mind, right? And this is what I've been saying all year. Are people buying it? These can be any price that we all decide. If we all really want these things can be extremely valuable. If we all don't want these things will have no value, right? Mm-hmm. And so it's not sustainable. The cult stuff isn't sustainable. People buying things because an influencer told them, to me, isn't sustainable. They're going to burn out. They're going to leave the hobby. They're going to get bored because they don't like the items. They're surrounded by items that some guy online told them to buy and that they make a lot of money. They take a look at them and like, I don't like these things. Why do I have them?
Yeah. And I've talked to people that got in, they asked me how to make money. And they made some money, but it was too much work for whatever reason. So they're done. There's some people that are staying. A lot of those people are leaving. But I got a lot of people emailing me still on how to collect, right? Because they have what keeps them here, right? And this goes back to momentum investing. And the more momentum, the shorter term investor starts piling in. The more people that pile in, the more momentum, the more shorter term. You could think of flippers, and then they create the price of something. But that's not what the price of it is. It's completely separated from the intrinsic value of it. What long-term collectors are willing to pay. Now,
Yep.
a lot of long-term collectors had to buy into highs because that was the price set by all these short-term flippers trying to make $1. If they're going to buy it in the morning and sell it at night, it doesn't matter what the price is if they make a profit, right? And that works until it doesn't. And then the people holding product, they get burned. And most of those people are usually people that were trying to play the game too long or collectors.
Yeah.
So I've been telling collectors to just be patient for about a
I
month.
think most of the passionate collectors were net sellers this year.
Yes.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say that most of the passionate collectors who love these things, who actually value them, took a look and said, I need to sell.
Yeah.
It's great. And when you're in a market like that and it's being driven up by lots of that greed and trying to make money, and not by a lot of people who now I think it's a combination. There are new collectors who really wanted the items. Okay.
Yep.
Absolutely. Who truly wanted them, want to hold them. Now they also wanted to know, should I buy this now or should I wait? As you were saying, right? They want to know, I don't want to overpay for this. I don't know what it should be. Right. And they got caught in a lot of this bad, unfortunate advice.
Experienced collectors got caught with fear.
Yeah.
Experienced collectors bought out of fear of these prices not coming back down.
Yeah, and I remember feeling like when I was really in the heart of it. So for me, I think the high was the top was in September, and I was watching the analytics, and we started to see slight sell-offs and just cool-offs, and then Logan Paul came out in October, and it kind of and then it went to just a new height of insanity, and then you had Mizkif, Moist Critical, Ludwig or whatever, all these guys like just pumping the stock, pumping the stock.
In the most pure way. Not to like break you up, but like, I don't think those guys cared at all. They were just having fun, like with the most expensive product in the hobby. I don't know. I didn't watch any. I'm looking at you thinking, I didn't watch those guys. I saw some highlights. Yeah.
I mean, my honest opinion on them is, yeah, I mean, this is ridiculous. Now I'm going into critiquing these other YouTubers. So, oh gosh. So my honest opinion of them, and please don't hate me, guys. Like we're all entitled to our opinions of people. Gosh.
When they're the market makers, I'm not confident.
Yeah, that's 100% true. But my opinion of it was that these guys are. It must be so hard to like come with content all the time. My God. And so like any sort of like fad or thing they're going to jump on if it's anywhere in sort of the game world. Now, someone like Mizkif loves Nintendo, I think, and has always loved Nintendo. We don't need to go into this and analyze all these people, but either way, I think that what they didn't do a good job of was understanding the market and understanding where they were coming into the market, and understanding the effect that they were having and acknowledging that effect. Now, they actually started doing it towards the end. I think that they realized it. In the beginning, it was like all fun and everyone is making money. And then towards the end, it was like, guys, these prices are crazy. Don't buy these packs from us. It's all going to charity, And then you had another group of guys who were pretty big influencers who started selling packs and making a fortune.
I saw that. I saw some of that.
And how do you defend those guys? I mean, that to me is scummy shit. If you go online, I'm just going to be I'm being completely blunt tonight. If you go online, and I apologize for swearing, I try not to on this channel. If you go online and you purchase a box for $5,000 on that day, or let's say I saw some people do a Team Rocket. Let's say, I think it was going to be 15K, right? And you flip it on that day to your audience, telling them that it's a great investment, telling them, knowing that you're basically they're in a cult with you, that they're willing to pay these ridiculous prices from you, and some parasocial relationship where they feel like they're your friend and they're supporting their creator that they love by giving their creator, who's extremely rich and extremely wealthy off their channel already, because these are big channels, an additional $15,000 for 25 minutes of work, because they bought it for $15,000 and they're now selling it for $35,000. In how are we even having this debate as a community that we can't all look at that and say, what is happening? This is stupid. Either the people buying this are stupid, or the guy selling it's manipulative and taking advantage of an audience who doesn't know what they're doing. And maybe
I'm a really good salesman too.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to
don't get it, right?
Entertaining, right?
Maybe I just don't get the online culture, right? And people are paying because they love these guys so much. I listen to these guys and I'm like, what? What? And this isn't the guys we mentioned, because they didn't sell packs to their audience. To be completely fair to that, none of the guys we mentioned outside of Logan, and that's a little bit, yeah. But
the Twitch guys were just having fun, and just didn't have to think, right? They didn't have to think.
But I think you're letting them off. I think you're letting them off the hook. These guys know how influencers work. I mean, these guys get paid lots of money to put product. Like, they know how markets work. Like, these guys are savvy. I mean, Logan and how he brought the crypto guys on and did the NFT and his next thing in,
Logan's in a whole other level. I'm thinking of like Moist Critical.
Well, he seems like the best guy. I mean, it's so hard to dislike a guy like him, because he's funny. He's down to earth. He calls people out in a very genuine way. He gives so much money to charity. Like, it's so hard to fault that guy. And I didn't watch enough of his content, and he might be the best of all of them. And I even heard he gave away all the cards to people for super.
There was some situation where they were like packing. I remember a video. I don't remember specifics. He was opening up Yu-Gi-Oh, right? Yeah. I didn't look at it, and he wasn't selling to anybody. He might have blown up the Yu-Gi-Oh market. I don't know. I didn't watch any Mizkif or any of those other guys. To me, those guys, they've always made money through Twitch and marketing and playing video games, right? I mean, I'm pretty sure I remember watching those guys play video games back in the day. I don't think they are, like, you can look at that and go, oh, well, that's why someone brand new would pay $1,000 for an Evolutions box, because they don't understand, that they're not aware. They're just new. I don't want to, if they did something wrong, I don't want to let them off the hook. But from what I saw, and I got to be honest, I did not watch any live streams. I saw 5-minute video clips or whatever. To me, I didn't see them. I saw people saying prices were X or going to X.
Yeah.
That was way worse.
And how about they have a bad pack, and then the guy says, well, you just need to grade those cards or hold those cards and you'll get all your value back, or they'll go up in the future. I heard that endlessly, or people in the chat lying to each other. Bubbles got like that type of like groupthink, and like pretending that we're not losing massive amounts of money, and pretending that this guy who's selling to us isn't making $15,000 while I just lost $1,000. Like it's pretending that isn't what's happening. Now, I have no issue with casinos. These guys are running casinos, and I actually have no issue with gambling in casinos. I existing. Now, I think that as a therapist, I work with, and have lots of experience with addiction, and I see the terrible things that it does. And when you combine addiction with these gambling and these dopamine releases that gambling, I understand how gambling works and why it lights up our brain. Okay. So, but taking advantage of that and then pretending that this isn't gambling, it's investing. Oh, yeah. Right. This is where you get into the problem. And I'm your friend. Hey, I'm your friend. I'm your local card shop, who's upcharging you an insane amount of money, and I'm your friend, and we get together, and you're lonely during COVID, and I'm going to take advantage of that. I mean, that's how I feel. That's how I feel about a lot of it.
It was tough to tell who there were some box breakers that it was tough to tell if they just didn't know. But when it kept going and you're advising people to spend $150 to express grade a rare non-hollow from a modern set, that's scummy.
And if you don't know, what are you doing giving advice?
You know by now. No,
or in the beginning, it's like Pete, like, and the names of some of these guys, like these like expertise sounding, we know we're talking about, and I would go onto these streams and I've told my audience this before, and I would make up cards and ask them advice on made up cards, and they would give me advice. Like they knew what I was talking about. Right.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. And then we have a Frosted Caribou video, right? With tons of people angry. That's why people are angry. It's because, and they may not even know that's going on. And I think there's tons of misplaced anger flying all over the place at people, and people don't know who really cares about people and who doesn't care about people, and who's back and who's trying to do, like, it's a weird time right now. And we'll see how it all shakes out, but
it's going to get better.
For sure.
I was talking I had Basic Trainer on, and he said, what do you think's going to carry? Cause we're going to have the 25th anniversary. It's going to be a great rest of the year, right? But if we keep seeing this market come down and a lot of this hype fade, and then maybe stimulus ends and the market bottoms out, and we bottom out somewhere, okay, we're going to have a period of years where the market is so chill and there's nothing going on. We're not going to have any of this drama. And honestly, I was telling him, I was like, that's some of my favorite content, going back and just learning about new cards or what cards come out without the context of, this is $300 right now. You should either wait because it's probably going to drop and you can get it cheaper, or you got to buy it now because it's just going to go up. It's going to go up from here on, all this. It's like, you don't have to worry about that, right? Like I will be excited for that content, because things aren't going to matter on a weekly, daily basis, money wise. And that's actually going to be some of the funnest time in the hobby, right? We won't have all this animosity and anger and all that. So,
I mean, it's really will be nice to be able to sit down and open a cheap pack of cards and hang out and like talk about the art and not be concerned about the money or the financial, or the financial. And I think that's part of why I was so upset with all of the YouTube content around invest in every product and that every single product needs to be investable and push, because it was hurting the hobby. And now I try and not make that type of analysis, because that's not a financial investing analysis. That's an analysis around it's not good. It like this hurts the hobby. Like these cards should be enjoyed and appreciated and spread around so we can all look at them and be affordable. It's not fun. And investing's fun, but not only investing. Like we also want to open packs and hang out and just like enjoy Pokemon and see what they're doing and like have conversation about the different artists. And that isn't the central focus of this channel, in part because I wanted to have a channel where I brought some sort of like expertise, and I felt like my expertise could be in that area. But as you know, and when you see me on other channels, like I just joke around and want to like hang out and chill and like talk about the cards that we like and talk about and I don't really care about value. I have binders filled with just my favorite cards, so it's all about balance,
When you say hurt the hobby, to me, I hear people leaving the hobby. Is that what you mean? Because that's what leaving the hobby or just not having as much fun.
Not having as much fun, yeah. I don't think all these people are going to leave the hobby or never come back. Or I think some are just they'll probably come back in a year. Slots. Yeah, I don't know.
But
we're getting priced out, because I think too it's not everyone thinks in a financially prudent way about this sort of stuff, and so I think that there are lots and lots of people in this hobby, many of which I think responded to the Frosted Caribou interview, for example, and I said this in the video, but there's this adapt or die narrative in the finance world, And there's certainly validity to that adapt or die narrative, but there's also validity to like, this is freaking Pokemon. I don't want to adapt or die. I just want to like chill out and open some cards that's cheap that I can afford.
Yeah.
At the end of the week. And I'm not trying to make
cutthroat, you know?
Yeah. So it's like, there's a lot more like people aren't upset because they can't make a lot of money. Like there are those people, there are those people who are like upset at scalpers because they want to scalp, or they were scalping before and now they have more competition. Like there's definitely a bunch of those trolls out there who, instead of being honest and just being like, yeah, it sucks that I have more competition and I was making more money before, and that's valid. You know, they make up something else. But there are also a lot of people who it's like, yeah, dude, like I just like
it's such a great hobby. It's such a great hobby. Like
it's fun.
Like people, I've seen people worry about whether their modern product is gonna go down if there's a Hidden Fates reprint, right? And you won't even be worried about that. In 2 to 3 years, you are not going to be worried about whatever product you're buying in 2 to 3 years, because you're not even going to be thinking about it. Like, because you're not going to be buying in an ETB at $200 or wherever you're buying in right now.
Yeah,
buying in at $49.99 at wherever you get it. Well, that remains to be seen. Distributors are upping prices. I don't know, but you know what I mean. We'll have an MSRP. It won't be hard to get. We'll have fun with it. We'll open it. Maybe we'll hold on to some for later. Open it later. You know what I mean? It's just there's all these. There's so much stress and frustration in the hobby that is supposed to be fun, right? Like I stress about work, about, you know, doing tax returns or setting up a time to go see, you know, take care of the neighbor's dog, see my family, XYZ, all these things. Like you're trying to plan your life. Pokemon's supposed to be just like a fun thing, and it's fun to invest. I have enjoyed investing in the terms of like buying cards that can hold value, maybe go up in value one day. But modern is just a blast, and that's what it will be again. It will be again. We have totally ignored the chat.
I know we have. You know, I'm opening up just like Mega Man. I got Mega Man around.
Mega Man, sweet.
Vintage, little vintage Mega Man. You know, I got some. Let me grab some of my vintage. Like, I just got this shipment in.
So. Hey chat, how you guys doing?
Yeah, they're hanging out and arguing.
Yeah, we still got Mason.
I'm sure they're having a good time.
Check mark.
Got some, you know, just a little speed racer, a little vintage speed racer.
Sweet. Speed racer. I never understood speed racer.
Let's check that out. Got some, you know, vintage Austin Powers.
Oh my God.
Right, guys. $9.
Totally.
Right? For a Decipher, which is a very good card. You know, this is, you know, fun booster box. It'll just be like fun to hang out and open up and explore.
Totally. Right? That's a great investment. The waifus are class. What year was that? Vintage 2004?
You know, and there's a lot of fun product out there, you know, in other things. And when you
I was opening up Wyvern. I opened up
Wyvern's fun. I heard Wyvern might be coming back. I heard some
ninjas.
I heard
Wyvern
some
coming back. Really?
I heard rumblings. It could be nonsense. You know, don't quote me on it, but I heard some rumblings that Wyvern could come back, which would be cool.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
That would be cool. They need to update I've been getting some of these.
Nice.
This is like a completed set. That was.
I like this.
I love the white borders, but I also got there's a lenticular set that is pretty cheap. And it's.
Oh, I'm not sure I know that one.
It's 60 cards. They're all lenticulars for Dragon Ball.
Okay. Let's see. Oh, do you know the Annie Mayhem stuff?
I never got. I kind of went straight to Cardos.
Yeah, I've been getting into the Annie Mayhem a little bit. I really like it. No, this is not that. I don't know. Whatever.
Dude, check these out, man. Let's see.
These are grab it. Oh yeah, I don't know
There's
those.
60 cards like that, dude.
Yeah.
Let's see. Got Frieza and Nappa. Like, this was cheap. I think this was like $50 or something. And they're all like straight from the anime. Super fun.
This is the
Oh, this is sick.
one of the Annie Mayhem cards.
Okay. I've seen them. I've seen them.
There's a cool hollow effect on it. Yeah, so this is one of the ultra rares. And it's like this really interesting old school mix of like, I don't know what we
Yeah.
this Dragon Ball Z card.
What is this, like RuneScape Dragon Ball or what?
Yeah, exactly. I love it. I think it's so funny. Yeah, RuneScape. It's exactly what it is. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, super glossy. Yeah, big fan of these.
I can't. There's like
maybe the best character, Future Trunks.
Future Trunks.
Yeah. Kind of hard to show the
Who's your favorite character? For me, it's Vegeta.
Yeah, for everyone, I think.
Have you seen that Vegeta?
Vegeta's such a great character.
There's like a 7-minute video of some guy put together Vegeta, and he's got like classic orchestra in the background. It's so dramatic, and I love it. It's so good.
Yeah, I mean, and I love Vegeta the entire way. I love it when he's like completely evil, when he's like trying to figure it out, when he's good. Yeah. He's great. Like he never bothers me. And then I really liked Gohan, like in the Frieza saga, and then Gohan just became just awful, like unbearable to watch. And then he got good again in Dragon Ball.
Well, there's a whole. I've watched like how the death of Gohan. It's basically like Nappa or not Nappa. Tien, the death of like that character just died off. He was in Dragon Ball. He was a villain. Same with Piccolo. Piccolo was a major villain. I remember being scared of Piccolo. And then Vegeta came and Vegeta was able to like match Goku. And like that is the reason Vegeta was always number 2. Like he was the main. But Piccolo is, like Chief Keen. He knows what's up, Piccolo. Yeah,
Piccolo is great. Honestly, like all, so many, I mean, such great characters. I mean, because the story is just like, talk about the most repetitive, like simplest, like it's just like, we're going to have a new villain who's more powerful. And then we are going to get more powerful. And then the villain's going to get more powerful.
There's never any like inner demons. Like Goku just freaking powers up. Goku reminds me.
Never changes. The story never changes. Yeah.
Never.
Yeah. But it's great. And the characters are I love the character. I know exactly what's going to happen, which also it just feels great. Goku's going to save the day or one of the others, and then Goku again. And then, it's just
why, like Goku. Do you have any friends like Goku? Just happy, just all the time. Life is just great. I mean,
I'm not sure I have any like complete Gokus.
Goku reminds me
all the time, unless it's like, and then like fiery competitive. That's the thing about Goku. He has those like the 2 modes. He has like the like, and then just like the I will like never be defeated and need to be the very strongest and best, like ultimate competitor.
And then I don't know if you've seen it, but the new Frieza, where they resurrect Frieza, that they kept him so evil, even more evil than he had ever been, and I love it.
Yeah.
Why aren't these brands dying?
Like Basic Trainer says, are we talking rocket science? I don't follow. Yeah, I really like that interview, by the way, that you guys did. That was cool.
That was a blast. That was a lot of fun. I'm making
all right, let's thank you for the super chats for those guys who sent it. Thank you, Mason. All right, maybe we should get out of the DBZ rabbit hole and go into Sailor Moon, as someone has suggested.
Sailor Moon. I bought some whites.
Weiss, I haven't got. I see what I know. I should try it out because like people love Weiss.
It's cool.
It's been like my big like. I've never done it. Never gone into it. Never checked it out. Yeah.
I mean, I was kind of getting into Weiss, but they came out with this.
It's hard to find right now. I hear it's like blowing up, right? It's very pricey.
For me, the Seven Deadly Sins is an anime my wife and I watch, and she actually enjoys it. So
like it.
They're coming out with a set for it here soon.
Yeah. Oh, that'll be interesting.
I
like the Seven Deadly Sins. I don't love it. I liked my favorite animes are Death Note's my all-time favorite. You know, that's at this point, that's extremely old at this point. I really liked the first season of what's it called? Oh my gosh, the one that
anime.
What?
You don't know who Itachi is? You remember when they were giving you like that dark energy Itachi?
Yeah, Itachi from Naruto. I know the background. Like he like what did he was like he like seemed like the bad guy and burned his village or something, but
yeah. I like Cowboy Bebop and Samurai Champloo and Yu Yu Hakusho and
what's the one about the video game where they get stuck in the virtual reality video game? You guys can help me. I'm completely blanking on the name.
Look to the chat. Look to the chat where the brains are. Is someone holding a lot of Weiss? Please go ahead and talk it up. Well, Mason, Weiss is the only one carrying.
Not Promise Neverland. I like Promise Neverland, but that's not the one. Oh my God. I can't believe I can't remember the name of it. It's the one. Sword Art Online. There you go. Did someone say it? Yeah, thank you.
I'm pretty sure Weiss has got a ton of Sword Art Online.
It has it in it. Oh, interesting.
Yeah, Weiss has got a ton of Sword Art. So if you want to open some Sword Art.
Oh, so then I might like it. Yeah, because
it's cheap. Cheap. Yeah.
Yeah, I love. So that first season was super dark. Like honestly, like that's one of the more disturbing shows I've seen, just because it's so intense. Have you seen it?
No.
Yeah, nope. It's like, yeah, I really recommend it if you like the kind of more like intense, like emotional stories.
Yeah, I do. Berserk is probably Berserk messed. Like I could not believe what Berserk did to me. I don't know if you've ever seen the original anime, but
no, I haven't seen that one. And I've never seen Cowboy Bebop. I should see Cowboy Bebop. I've watched like all the Full Metal Alchemist. I've watched quite a bit of Attack on Titan, like all the different various ones.
Attack on Titan, that first episode, first 5 minutes, how demented was that? I was hooked after that.
Yeah. It's a great show. And then I've been watching some of the newer ones that have been coming out like on Netflix, like periodically. Animes have like some of the best stories. Like on like they do. And I'm a sucker for worlds. I love creative worlds and stories.
So there was a lot of studies done through because so many more people were watching more TV. Yeah. They were tuning out of like sitcoms and people are watching animes now in the US.
Oh, interesting. That's interesting.
Animes have really taken off, which is great because you can relay so much emotion and connection to certain characters.
Yeah.
Almost better in an anime. And
the creativity is off the charts on a lot of these shows.
Incredible.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, and I wonder if it's because Netflix that it's becoming more popular than now. Just like a lot of people who like, because I think anime probably had like it's a weird or it's not like a mainstream type thing, and now that it's like on the Netflix home screen all the time, like more people are just watching it.
I think that's what it was. It was based on.
Yeah. But yeah, when I was a kid, it was Dragon Ball Z, Rurouni Kenshin. If I'm saying that right, I'm probably saying it wrong.
Was that a good show? I remember it being amazing.
I liked it.
I loved Kenshin. Like I thought he was such a cool character.
Yeah, he's a Goku-ish. You know, that's sort of like
he would have that flip.
Yeah, and he's definitely not like happy-go-lucky. He was, but he was so like like docile and like wouldn't hurt a fly, and then just like has that flip and is like a freaking like killer, you know? Yeah, it's great.
Oh man.
Naruto, I never got that into. So I probably watched like 40 or 50 episodes of Naruto. I know there are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, and I liked it, but it wasn't like it didn't grab me. I watched a little bit of One Piece. I kind of had the same experience with One Piece. I liked it, but I didn't like binge it. Like I kept wanting to watch. Whereas like Death Note, like every time I watch an episode of Death Note, I'll end up just like watching the whole.
Well, the thing like Naruto has like 700 episodes or something ridiculous.
Something crazy.
Like, no way. There's no way.
And One Piece, I think, has even more. I want to say, like One
Piece is like the reigning anime champion.
Yeah,
like
it's
the Shonen Jump reigning. Nothing comes close.
Yeah. Oh, and some people saying Yu-Gi-Oh. Yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh. I loved Yu-Gi-Oh as a kid. That anime show. That was when I was a kid. That was the show for me for probably a year or two. Every weekend.
Because it was on the weekend, right? Yeah. Like Pokemon.
Saturday morning, I believe, and it would be that new episode every week, and I would be like so waiting to find out what happened.
Oh, I loved Yu-Gi-Oh. I watched Yu-Gi-Oh. Pokemon, literally, I could watch 15 minutes and then I have to go to school.
Yeah.
But with Yu-Gi-Oh, I loved watching Yu-Gi-Oh, and I actually played the game a lot. When I moved from Illinois to Arizona.
Yeah.
And by the time I had moved, all the kids were off Pokemon and on a Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah.
I went deep.
Yeah.
I can't believe I rediscovered Yu-Gi-Oh in like the last year. I can't believe I never went in on it sooner.
Yeah.
These guys doing.
Yeah. All right. Should we take some questions?
Yeah. These guys are talking about everything. Gundam, Digimon.
How far are we into this live stream? Should we take the first question?
From the beginning?
Oh, wait, we didn't even go through the Patreon questions.
Well.
Oh, my God. I think there's another Patreon question.
There is.
Let's see. All right. Patreon question number 2. All right. I might have to do it on the next one. I like doing it at the beginning so that they can find them very easily.
Give them a timestamp.
I could do that. Yeah. If I was a YouTuber and knew what I was doing.
It's just the time of the video.
I know. I don't know that fancy timestamp talk. That's a bit.
Dang. What was, we can do this Patreon question. I also want to get to Hisoka's. I can't remember what it was though.
Oh shoot.
He can put it in one more time.
Yeah, Hisoka, if you're still here, drop your question again. This time leave $1,000. No, I'm completely drop it in at the bottom and we'll grab it. Okay, let's wait for that. Let me pull up. I can pull up the Patreon questions. Let's just do it. I can timestamp it for them.
See my big old socks.
Did Ahsoka put it in there yet?
He's here, but he hasn't put it in. He hasn't put it back in.
There's always a lag, so
okay.
It might just take a sec. Or he's muted the conversation and is just hanging out in the chat, which would be sweet. All right, let's give him just another second, and if he doesn't come up with it, then I'll read the Patreon question. Okay, here you go. My question was about how newcomers and hype influencers conflate underpriced with underrated. They push cheap cards to their audience who can't afford the higher priced cards as investment options. So when we conflating underpriced and underrated, it depends on how we're defining underrated. Like underrated could be underrated from a like enjoyment perspective or underrated from an awareness perspective, but it doesn't mean that it's underrated from a price perspective. So for example, like like, I think that there are common cards from like the new sets that are underrated in terms of they're underappreciated, right? But because there are so many of them, they're never going to have any value. They're never going to, so I think that if he's getting at that point, I agree that you can conflate just because a card is cool and people like it doesn't mean that they're and should like it more than they do, or it's a missed thing from that demand side. Doesn't mean that the rarity, fundamentals are there for it ever to be valuable. So as far as the idea that they push cards to their audience that they can afford, I unfortunately, I do think that happens, that there's, and I get that on this channel, people get frustrated. It's like, I talk too much about cards that people can't afford and that are expensive. And, my response to it is like, it's the type of thing that Rudy says. It's like, get another job, flip cards to make more money so that you can buy that card. I'm not going to like lie to you and tell you that there are things, like it would do you much more harm to tell you that here's an item that I think you should put your money into that I think is a safe investment than me sort of being honest about that stuff. And I clearly the videos that get the most clicks are the videos with like if I did a video with like the 5 best items to buy now under $100, 20,000 views probably, right? Like all of the work that I put into like all of these videos with all of this like knowledge and useful stuff, nothing, worthless compared to a video with that title,
your reputation, it goes worthless the second you post something like that. Personally, that's how I view it.
Maybe, but I don't know.
There's a difference. You don't have to say top 5 investments. You could say top 5 alternatives, like the evolutions. If people are going to have issues getting these cards, go to Delta Species evolutions cards. Some of those are probably pretty cheap raw, and they're amazing, right? And there's alternatives to all these Pokemon. That's different than saying go buy these Delta Species evolutions hollows. They're going to the moon, right? There's just a difference, and maybe
I guess my video though, Swami, would be like, go and look at what you like and buy what you like. Like, why do you need if you're not looking for investment advice, why do you need you want my opinions on subjectively like what you should enjoy? It gets in a little bit into that space of like just buy whatever makes you happy.
Yeah.
And I'm in like full support of it. If you're not looking to like invest, you know what I mean? It's like, and it's such a subjective hobby. It's like my favorite brand, I'm not a huge fan of the new EV set.
Really?
Yeah. It doesn't hit me so far. Now I think there are going to be some alternative arts that are really cool that they haven't shown yet. So
I'm excited.
Yeah. I think that there'll be some cool stuff in there. And the promo card is definitely cool. I think we can all agree the promo card's sweet.
The V's, I'm not big on the CGI.
I was I didn't think they were good. So, but the Celebi card from the promo from what's it called? Black Saber, Lust Jet, some combination of those words.
Yeah.
What have I taught? Do you know what it's called?
Black Polter. No, it's not Poltergeist.
Yeah, it's something Black Geist. Maybe it's Black Geist.
Like that. It's got Rapidash in it.
Whatever it is. That card I think is beautiful. Mm-hmm. That's my favorite card I've seen in a little bit in the modern.
I've been excited. I've wanted a full art light Jolteon. I wanted them to take that art and make it the whole card.
Yeah.
And that's basically what they're doing now. So I'm really excited to see what they come out with. But if they keep up this really hand-drawn or hand-done art, less CGI, I've never been a big fan.
Yeah.
You're just pulling this from the video game. I feel like this is just the easiest thing to do.
That's how I feel. But for me, I just think it's really cool that people are passionate.
Yes.
You freaking love that art. I love that you love that art, right? Yeah. I just love that people are passionate one way or the other. If you hate it, hate it. That's a hobby, right? But that doesn't need a video. I don't have to come out here and say, these are the 5 things that you should like.
Right. I'm just saying how I feel. And I totally agree. You can hate or love whatever you want.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I suppose, to your point though, I mean, making a video where it's like, here are some fun and affordable things that you haven't seen yet that you might enjoy it. Like, that's why Twice Baked Jake's channel is great.
Mhm.
That's why TBJ's channel is a treasure for the hobby, because TBJ has made those videos. A lot of his videos are like that. And he has a big audience of mostly brand new people, pretty much probably all brand new, pretty much all brand new people. And he's showing them great cards and helping them fall in love with the hobby.
Yeah.
All pluses across the board, right?
Definitely.
The issue is the investment stuff weaved in, and then people using the channel like probably outside of Jake's want or control to buy stuff that he says and move it up, and all that sort of stuff. And then the non-acknowledgement that that's going on, right?
All agree.
Right. And so, but outside of that, like, the channel's great and he's making beautiful videos that's doing exactly that. I'm not going to make I don't need to make those videos. Those are already being made. Like, what I think I can bring is I'm like the only person that I can tell, or one of the only few people who doesn't have a business, who isn't selling directly to their audiences, and has made a lot of money in Pokemon and has a lot of knowledge on all the finance side, and has 15 years of investing experience, which is a lot more than the vast majority of Pokemon, because we're so young, that I've been investing in things since I was, for about 16 years, like very seriously every day. Like, I've been following, markets every single day and been through, multiple booms and bust cycles. So that's where I thought that I could bring that, where I can bring that value. But Rafi made a video, 3 like fun and affordable, things to buy. Great video, 1,800 views, right? So people don't want that nearly as much as they want. They want to be told what's going to make me money.
1,800 views. That's like my peak. I'm peaking over here, Jay.
Well, we can't all be Mason.
Yeah. Yeah, dang Mason.
No, yeah, on that note, you deserve some more love. So please, people from here, go support Swami, because he's clearly dropping the knowledge here, as you guys can see. Hopefully,
well, I mean, I to be fair, my first videos, the audio quality sucked, and I'm getting better. I got a new camera. I want to make a Pat Flynn video, and I think those are amazing. The way, in fact, I even tried to do that. But the way, literally, he did some random hollow card with his camera, and it looked 3D. The way he had shined his light, I asked him, and he said he shined his light around. I love videos like that, right? Just highlighting a card. I don't think he said anything about it going to the moon or anything, and it doesn't even need to be said. I mean, there's so many cool cards that I own that would never expect them to go up in price above $5, that I could make a cool 5-minute video about, and just to have somebody enjoy Pokemon for 5 minutes. Yeah. So eventually I'd like to get there. It is a lot of work and a lot of time, slowly but surely.
One thing that's so crazy is, and as you get bigger, it just becomes more of an issue of like what you say just like messes with prices and all these sorts of things. Did you see the Scott Pratt video where he talked about the Silver Bible?
Yes, I did.
So is there anything, and let me know what you guys think in the chat. Is there anything more ironic than, so listen, Scott's super knowledgeable. Everyone should be, who's serious about Pokemon, should be subscribed and listening to Scott's channel. So let me preface it with that. But Scott would say things like, what people say doesn't affect prices, right? He's said that a number of times, right? And then he comes out and he makes a video that's titled like affordable things. Hey guys, stop complaining. He's basically like, hey guys in the hobby. And I agree with the sentiment to the most part. I maybe not the way you said it, but the sentiment. Guys, stop complaining so much, right? About that there's nothing affordable. There are plenty of things affordable, and it's not about art, because here's the Silver Bible that you can buy for like $100, and it has like the art of like every card. And so you don't need to own the actual card. You can, and it's like, I completely agree with the premise of the video. Like exactly that Silver Bible is beautiful. It's wonderful. And it shows that like a lot of people are more interested in the cards because they're more interested in the money in some extent, to some case, rather than owning the art, right? The next day, that silver Bible's going for $900 because a bunch of people watched that and bought it all up to then flip.
It's like
so funny. It's like the best thing. I
was just watching Rainy Day Collectibles and reading this book about investing right and not speculating, and how to invest right. And it's this book that is about investing that's going for like $900 in the secondary market. Crazy.
It's just so fun. It's just like, all right, here we go. You're literally telling people.
I had that Neo 2 Premium Charizard. I had that up for 6 weeks. 2 offers, not even real. They're like $50 offers.
Yeah. No one wanted that card. That was on nobody's bidder.
Nobody.
Then we saw a nice little video on it.
One video. And literally that night, I'm driving home. And I'm like, that Neo 2 Premium is going to sell. Like, I'm literally listening to this and I'm going, okay. The next morning, 9 offers. The next day, and it sold. We can influence people. Definitely. I think I might have even influenced 200 people.
Yeah. And then some part of it is awareness. It's like that silver Bible probably was very undervalued. And Scott brought attention to the silver Bible that people didn't know. And then maybe a lot of people really wanted it and it pushed the price up. Mm-hmm. Same thing with this Charizard Pro, right? So there's some degree of that, but there's also this crazy degree of like, they were all bought up and then they were all relisted, or a lot were relisted at really high prices. You know what I mean? So it's not just that, right? There are multiple things going on at once here. And I think that's what makes it tricky, because someone like Twice Baked Jake, when we can go back to it, says something about the waifus, there points out that they're probably underrated, these sorts of things. Then we have and I know these guys, I know guys who are now running, and they've talked to me. They run these private Discord groups where you can pay $20 and they all buy 100 of the same card. They buy out TCG Player, they buy out all the sources. They targeted those waifus, right? That.
Super easy. Yeah. They grade well. They're all modern. Yeah. They grade well. Go send them to CGC.
Yeah.
Get them back quick and flip them onto the market. I mean, there was money to be made, and a lot of people made a lot of money, but there was a game that was played that you can't even play anymore because these companies are shut down. But I don't think you're going to be able to play. I don't think you're going to be able to play that game.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And then, people are talking about MetaZoo, Rudy talks about MetaZoo, and then Scott and Squeak say something negative about MetaZoo. MetaZoo went down for a little bit after those videos. Yeah.
Or did it go down? I didn't. I saw Squeaks.
Now it might not have dipped because of those videos. It might have also dipped for other reasons, but
you gotta watch everything you say, right?
And it really might have. And I really don't know. I mean, I don't think you can't claim causation. It could just be a coincidence with these types of things. Yeah, but I watch the market really closely, and I see all of these things, and some of them are not coincidences, and some of them, it's not like it's completely driven by that, but they're partially driven by those things. Because the people in my chat, even this channel right now, we have 133 people watching right now. We probably have, millions and millions and millions of dollars in Pokemon in this channel, and lots of people making a lot of money watch this channel. There are a lot of people here we could all easily buy up a vintage card, right? We could buy every single card. We could all go on eBay right now with all of our money and buy up 10 to 20 different things, and the prices would go up.
Jungle Flareon, let's do it, boys.
Yeah. So
don't do it. Don't. Never mind. No, seriously. I mean, and it was a real good game because there was a lot of new people too that were just willing to pay. There's just no way I'm selling any of my cards to a Pokegal, right?
Yeah.
Someone who's been doing this a long time. There ain't no way. I made so many sales, and even at $50 or $60, I don't see some people experience making that buy.
So Alan, so we have a comment that's saying that unless your name is Logan Paul, small PokeTubers aren't affecting the prices. And what I will say to you is that I have run specific experiments on my channel where I said something. I've had buyers or sellers who are selling on eBay ask people like, why are you buying this? And they've told them from Pokenomics Jake from this channel that that's why they're buying, and they never heard of the card before. Now they're buying it for the first time. And so there are only 20 to 30 of these cards in the world, a lot of them. There are countless to Z and G's channel when he talked about what's it, forget the exact, the Venusaur, I think, promo. Yeah. The next day went from nothing to 100. The Master Scroll, like the
that's a battle you're gonna have to fight later on.
The 2004 Worlds, like unstamped Worlds promo, that was being talked about, and it went from $4 to $200. Now, again, underrated. Like, often these things are actually underrated, but then when someone talks about them, it has a massive effect. So to say that doesn't have an effect is you're not actually watching the market. No offense, my friend. Like, it's just not a reality.
You can definitely affect prices. Now, I came out with a video. I'm on Hello Japan and Plaza Japan have had explosive impact. The Japanese set that has the full art Rainbow Rare Lugia and the full art Lugia.
Yeah.
And I came out with a video. I have like maybe 300 people that watched that video. Explosive impact is sold out on Plaza Japan and Hello Japan.
Yeah.
Like, out of all the sets, I mean, now I don't want to it's hard for me to imagine that I created that, but and it was kind of off the tailwinds of the English set had been rocketing up in price recently, but it's like there were other English sets like Dream Bout or whatever, where you get these amazing starter evolution Pokemon, better Japanese sets that with not, I don't know. I think it might have had an effect, because why is that set sold out on Hello Japan and Plaza Japan? Yeah, I bought 28 boxes. I did. I went deep, but there had to have been other people, because it wasn't sold out the next day. It was still listed up at $46, and then 2 weeks later, 67. 2 weeks later, 120, and now it's sold out. So I definitely think any channel can affect the market. Vaporeon over Flareon. How about Jolteon over Vaporeon over Flareon? How about that? Dream League. Love Dream League.
If you guys have any questions, we can oh no, we're gonna do the Patreon question. Let's finally do it. All right.
We're so off the wall tonight, Jake.
Yeah, dude. It's just a hangout. No one's watching. This isn't going out into the world.
This is incredible. 133 people watching right now. This is like, we're famous. Made it to the big leagues.
Okay, here's a question. Would love to hear our thoughts on the market cap. Oh, how important is market cap in Pokemon cards, whether or not it's relevant, and when the market continues to rise, will market cap be tracked more carefully? It's obviously incredibly difficult to track. When I'm buying higher end cards, I like to look at the pop and check what the theoretical market cap is of the specific subset of cards I'm purchasing, and if it makes sense purchasing at the current prices. Just an interesting thought, as I've always watched the market cap of crypto. Didn't really make sense at 1 billion. Doesn't really make sense at 3 trillion in crypto. He's talking about, yeah. If you look at these these swear word coins, these bad coins, these ridiculous coins, they have these like insane market caps, meaning that like if you were to cash all these people out and buy all of it, it would take a certain amount of money to buy it all, would be the market cap. So you have these like billions of dollars, like it would take billion, and I don't know the market cap of Dogecoin right now, but it's insane. And then the market cap of everything combined, as he's saying, is like 3 trillion. Like, so much money, is theoretically,
This is a really good question because this
And
has
so
been.
this I talk about a lot. Yeah, market cap. Go ahead, Swami.
Well, I'm going to defer to you
Yeah,
because I've been thinking about how wide the hobby is and how many great cards are out there. How many cards right now that are going for $1,000? The promo that came in this box, I think sealed, it's $450, $500.
yeah,
The graded version of it is probably in the thousands, right? So, and that this came out, I don't know, 3 years ago or whatever it was. Then you have all the WotC. I mean, how big? And it's going to be tough to tell until we get to the bottom, and then we see where the new floor is for our hobby coming out of this whole thing. But how big is the hobby? I feel like we're actually kind of small. I feel like as compared to like sports cards, we don't have that many people, but they do come out with cards every year, and they come out with rare cards every year. They do come out with promos with limited releases and trophies and all these things. And what's sustainable, right? And it's obviously it's changing. 10 years from now, the demand is going to be different. Hopefully it's much bigger. It'd be great. But what is sustainable? Because there's a card from every set that's going for $1,000 almost.
yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just I'll let you take it.
Absolutely. You know, and I think market cap is really good to think about when you're thinking about risk and retraces as well, which I think is a really important thing to think about right now. So I'll just start an example. So Champions Festival Stamped Worlds promos. Like if we pick a specific one and there are 3 of them graded, right? Or 4 of them graded, or for whatever one. So the market cap of that, if that card is going for $600, it takes $2,400 to buy every one of those in the world right now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If we take a set card and we think about how much money is it going to take to buy up all of that card in the world, it's going to be huge. And there are going to be certain cards that that's going to take a lot more money to buy up all those cards. They're going to take other, right? So when there's a much, much larger market cap, there's going to be, all things being equal, okay, which it's not, of course, because there's different demand. You know, demand is that tricky piece of that's so hard to predict, and when there isn't a lot of a card, and when it's not going for as much, it doesn't get as much attention. And so the demand, you know, it's very complicated how that demand is built and sustained. But when we talk about that retrace there, it's, if there's tons and tons of a card and there's tons more of that card coming on, and there are tons more, to your point, of a similar type of card coming in, you know, it's like if we think that everyone who's going to owns a Shining Fates Charizard is going to also need to own a gold, you know, the gold Shining Fates Charizard that's next, right? They're going to do a gold shiny Charizard next. And then they're going to do like a hyper rare gold shiny, you know, whatever they're going to do. And then it's like, if that is going for $100 only, are people still going to pay $1,200 for that Hidden Fates one? Or does that one need to be at $400 for that one to be at $1,200? Because all these prices are relative. So when you create this new Charizard, you need a lot more money probably to go into that one, to push it up to a certain price point that makes sense relative to this other one that's very similar, very linked. Okay. Now I think that can affect the whole hobby too, because it can be like, well, I could buy this vintage card for this amount, but if the Hidden Fates Charizard, which is a really cool card that I really want, is come all the way down to 300, am I going to pay 10,000 for a vintage card? You can play that game all over the place, but I think that the more different a card is, and I think because WotC has its own era and its own identity, and these trophy cards in particular have their own eras and identities, it's a little bit less of a problem, even though it still is a problem. But when we go to your question, we think about just specific single cards and thinking about the market cap. If the market cap of your booster box or your card is hundreds of millions of dollars, you need hundreds of millions of dollars of demand to stay interested and engage in that card, or it will retrace. If you have a card that's $2,400, you only need $2,400 still interested in that card for it not to retrace. There's a huge difference, right? Does that make sense, Swami?
Oh yeah, totally.
Just on the surface of like, now that demand might be there, and there might be a reason, right? In a lot of cases, there might be a reason why, although the market cap is so high on this card, it is a very high price because it's so desirable. We could talk about first edition base set Charizard. It would be a really good example of that, or unlimited base set Charizard. Huge market caps on those cards because they're very expensive and there are so many of them. And yet it's possible that they might go up in value over time, right? Versus some of these other cards. So we'll have to see, but it's important. It's a great question, Kai.
And did we answer it? Or did you answer me? Because I want to make sure we answered it. But yeah, it's been a interesting kind of brain teaser for me. Is just to imagine, like Pokemon Hollow said in here, a lot of money in Pokemon is just money that is being rotated. Someone sells a card at $100 and buys $100 worth of Pokemon. So the prices work out as most of the money goes back into Pokemon. And I agree. And that's how I've always been in Pokemon.
Yeah.
That is the case if you're doing it in cash, right? Because now there's eBay fees, and there's new taxes. And it's like, how much, because as an area of the market would get to an uncomfort level where it was uncomfortable to be paying more than $500 for a modern waifu PSA 10, that just another area of the market would just blow up, and we watched that happen. And so as different areas of the market increased and were left behind, and that money's tied up in the card, how much money is actually across all of them versus just tied up in the card? You know what I'm saying? It's like, I think there's a cap to demand, the amount of money that demand can provide the market, right?
Yeah. So two things. I think most of the money is going to wind up in a few cards. So I think most of the money is going to wind up in a few cards rather than being as spread out as it is. Mm-hmm. Okay. Second, I'll say that his point works if there's no new cards and new product, but it doesn't work because there's new cards and new product all the time. So to the point we were talking about before, more money needs to now buy. If these EV boxes came out and there's another $30 million, there isn't probably that much needed, but for the rest of modern product this year, there's another 30, 40, $100 million, $200 million that need to come into the market to buy all of it up. If it comes from these other things, the prices on those other things are going to go down, and so that's something I've been trying to work out in my head. Yeah. So you need more demand. I mean, it's just math, right? Yeah, it has to come from somewhere.
I totally agree. Yeah.
So where it can come from though, is people's jobs, that people every month they put more of their own money into Pokemon. So it's not coming from just selling other things. It's coming from outside of the hobby and into the hobby. And that we don't necessarily need more people. We just need people to continue to spend part of their paycheck on, a certain percentage, and it needs to keep up with the amount of new stuff in order for everything to sustain.
And we need people to hold their cards or their product, because if everybody dumped, right? That's what I'm saying is, like, let's say everyone at the same time tried to sell everything. You, me, everyone in the chat, everybody.
Sure.
There's not enough amount of money. Even if we were all willing to buy, we would not have enough money available to get everything back to the same price that it was at. I know it's kind of like a unnecessary brain teaser. I'll shut this window. But if everybody was trying to sell everything, if we were all
selling everything and we were all buying everything with the same amount of money, there would still be the same amount of money in the hobby. And so prices would go back, but it could change from what card. I mean, it would be a complete mess in this sort of idea. We would be
trading cards because we don't actually have the physical cash, right? Like, sure. I've got tens of thousands of Pokemon cards stuff, right? That doesn't mean I have that tens of thousands. Like, I can't trade this, but it's up on the market. Mm-hmm. If everything sold with the amount of money in our savings and our pockets, there's just money tied up in the physical card, right? We've tied that up. It's a completely unnecessary brain teaser. It doesn't mean anything, right? Forget about it. It's getting late, guys. It's probably almost 12 at your time.
Yeah, 11:40.
Did you have one more?
Looks like there is one more. So you mentioned in your Shiny Charizard versus Joe Montana rookie card video, way back. I never go watch my old videos. That'd be fun to go watch and see what the hell I was talking about back then. But I do remember this video. Okay, so you mentioned in your Shiny Charizard versus Joe Montana rookie card video how you see the value / rarity of the Charizard fairly equal in a PSA 9 and 10. Do you see this also applying to 20-year-old cards? I recently bought a 2002 Hollow McDonald's Japanese Charmander promo on PSA 10. Its pop 10 is 270. PSA 9 pop is a 30 with a total of about 333 graded. This is an absolutely absurd high PSA 10 ratio. Do you think this is a risky 10 plus year holder? Do you think enough time has passed that despite the high population of 10s, the total population will stay low enough that 10 will hold a good value despite the ratio? Do you think this applies to many of the old promos with high PSA 10 ratio? Phenomenal question. So no, in part because there aren't enough 10s to go around potentially. So if there are enough 10s to go around, let me think about this for just one sec. So the point of this question is something like this, Swami. It's that when I was and I'm trying to think back to the video I was making. When I was making that video, there was something like, it was like 4,000 or so PSA 10 Hidden Fates Shining Charizards and like 1,000 9s. The point just being that like it was so easy to get a 10 on this card that like it really to me carries no premium whether or not you have a 10 or a 9. It's like kind of arbitrary because it's not a hard thing to get. They're basically the same. Mm-hmm. And then I didn't think that the 10 should get a huge premium and that people were paying a really huge premium for Black Label. And I was a bit suspect of that. Although I did make the argument, I think going back to that video, that Black Label is interesting because it also creates rarity where there is no rarity.
Yeah.
So, and if that card goes down as like a historic, amazing card, the only way to make that card rare might be the Black Label. So something like that. Right. So those are sort of the arguments. Yep. So I think his point is that given that that's true, let's say, take a vintage card that has a high PSA 10 to PSA 9 ratio. Is the same true even if there aren't, even if it's an easy to get 10s, if there are a lot less of those graded. So
we were a lot smarter when we were sending in 5 years ago.
Yeah.
It didn't make a lot of sense to send in an 8 or a 7. I've never seen a McDonald's Hollow Charmander. I know with the one with the big blue eyes. Love that card. I've never seen it above a PSA 5 in raw. I've had a lot of them. Never seen one in pristine condition. That 10 in particular is going to it's not going to blow up, in my opinion, from my experience and what I've seen. But you could also think about it like,
yeah,
back in the day before 2020, people were very particular in what they sent in. Very particular. I mean, 2020 was kind of like a free ride to send in all these cards you had said, no, I'm not going to send that in because it's not going to get a 10. It's probably not going to get a 9. But I'll let you answer now. That's my answer.
So I think that it's a tricky question. It's a great question. So I think that my answer would be something like this. I don't think that the 10 versus 9 should have a huge premium when it's easy to get 10s. Okay. But I do think the 10s and the 9s should have a pretty big premium on that card because there aren't many mint vintage cards of that card at all. So you see what I'm saying, Swami? So because it's every copy of Hidden Fates Charizard is probably an 8, 9, or 10 in the world because there are going to be some that are played and damaged, but almost everyone is going to be an 8, 9, and 10. there really isn't going to be any difference in even having a graded card of that. Like it doesn't matter that much as it is when there's only 300 or 400 or 700 examples of any mint version of that card, and you have a 9 or a 10 grade to prove that. Now, I think that the 9 to 10 ratio, if there are 300 10s and 39s, it becomes a sort of thing where it's not, there isn't that challenge in getting that 10 versus the 9, right? If you get a 9 or you get a 10, it's about the same. They're about that, and that's how I feel about it. But everyone is not necessarily going to agree with that. So I think is a very logical response. I do think at the same time, we're subjective collectors, and there are people who just really like 10s. And so probably because of that, you're always going to see that at least double of the 9. I feel like almost always 10 sell for at least double the 9. And I think that would be a case where it would probably sell double the 9, roughly. It should sell double the 9 instead of 5, 6, 7 times the 9, as we might see when the 10s are much more difficult to get than the 9. So that would be my response. What do you think of that, Swami?
Well, he says he bought it, so he owns it. He owns it now, and he says, I recently bought it. Do you see this as a risky 10+ year hold?
Okay.
And I would say no.
The original McDonald's cards.
Yeah. Do you know how much they've been selling for? Because they've
been selling for a lot. Yeah. So
I mean, we could look it up. I mean,
I don't think so. So I feel like McDonald's promos are the premium brand promo. It's the one that's had the longest relationship. I think it's the most famous relationship with Pokemon. I think that that's a piece of history, and that those cards are a piece of that history of those two huge brands coming together. And they're gorgeous cards.
Oh, wow. It is going for a lot. It's going.
I want to say they're over 1,000, right? In PSA
800.
The Pikachu's maybe 1,000.
But he might have been the January 11th sale for 465.
Yeah. So I think that my guess on those cards is probably less upside, less downside would be my guess. I think that some of these like WotC English set low PSA 10 pop hollows have more of a potential explosion upside that we saw in like comic books potentially. I think a card like that is going to be held mostly by people who know what it is, who value it. The art's really cool. But it's just kind of it's more niche, and it's not as like quite as historic, although it is historic. I mean, McDonald's and I'm just thinking out loud here, it's good cards. They're great cards.
They are. That Charmander is one of the coolest Charmanders ever, in my opinion. I love the big.
Yeah, it's a great card.
Eyes.
I love the Squirtle too.
Yeah. Yeah, that crazy looking Squirtle, and he's blowing a bubble, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
we both really like the card.
Yes, I really like the card.
It's the demand side. There are not going to be a lot more of those graded. Those always had value. And so people were grading all the mint ones. So I guess to answer your question a little bit better, you don't have to worry about a flood more of those. Now, the only thing you do have to worry about, and this is a bit of a pro tip for everyone, is that there are a lot of savvy people in this hobby who have been here a long time, who do have big positions in certain things, who slowly grade them and sell them and don't grade them all at once.
Which is why pop counts are important.
Yeah. And so there are guys who are like, old timer guys who've been here the whole way, who are still could be sitting on 100 of those or 200 of those, and sitting on the packs, and are slowly grading them, slowly selling them as to not blow up the pop report too much. I just don't know the answer to that. I do know there are guys who do that and have acted that way and behave that way, because some of those guys have gotten angry at other guys who have come out and graded a bunch, because they're like, we don't want to do that. We want to be savvy with it and slow, because people fall for these like low pop, like they look at the pop report as gospel, and they say,
I'm very excited for the pop reports to be flushed out.
Yeah.
I'm actually excited to see. There was areas of the market that I always enjoyed that didn't get graded a lot, and it'd be great if more areas got graded. This Charmander, I've seen a few raw that
Yeah.
I've bought in collections. Never have they been in good condition.
Yeah.
Um,
New collectors are not coming and finding these mint. I can tell you that much very often. So the only thing you really have to worry about is old collectors who have these collections already storing a bunch of these mint either as a big collector or as a potential sale down the line where they're slowly grading them and increasing. So
it's a cool binder card. I mean, people back in the day, there might have been somebody that wanted to just fill a binder of these things. People did stuff like that. But
yeah,
it's about as good as answer as we can give, I think.
all right. Let's see what people are saying here.
Oh, it's on Basic Trainer's watch list. It's a nice. I love that Charmander.
Tabmeister says, in my opinion, it can be irrational to want the highest grade possible depending on the premium for the 10 versus the 9 or 8, considering it's the smallest of blemishes on a cardboard square. Yeah, I think when we look at history as our guide from other hobbies, the highest end, it matters a huge amount in price because the people buying these things have endless amounts of money. And when you have an endless amount of money, you pay a lot more for that premium item. But I think when it just goes to what we were talking about before. I think when you're going Hidden Faith's Charizard, am I paying 10 times for the PSA 10 that has the tiniest bit of whitening versus the 9 when there are tons of these cards and there isn't a challenge in finding any of them? No, personally. And I think that's where it gets into, you have to ask yourself, it's like, when you own a 10 that's extremely difficult to find and there's going to be almost none ever, and you have a card that is going to get that grade and achieve that grade and others aren't, there is an excitement in that. There is a coolness in that. There is a value in that. There is a chase in that. But how much of a chase? And is it more of a chase for certain cards than other cards? And, we can get into, I certainly agree that it can get into nonsense-y, how much more money we're paying for something because of a tiny bit of whitening, for sure. But
it doesn't, when you're talking about like the high end, there's going to be, right, Pokemon is a millennial thing. Millennials are not there yet. Yeah, we got careers, we're making some money, but there's going to be some millennial sports franchisee owners, CEOs. There's going to be some big dollars in this market one day, and they will pay for the 10. Yeah. Every time. Hey, Radar. God dang it, dude. Where are you at, Radar, man? I hope you're doing good with your new job and everything. I've been missing your content, dude.
Two of my favorite guys in the hobby here, Rainy Day Collectibles and Radar.
I know, Rainy Day. I'm talking to Rainy Day at the end of the month.
Nice. Yeah, I love Zakil. So, Zakil asks thoughts on the prices of evolution boxes and how they affect the rest of the market. So evolution booster boxes have fallen. They're in the 700s now, and most of the supply hasn't even come back. So that's all I'll say.
I think it'll be interesting to see how it'll affect the market when they start coming down. That's me personally.
Mason, you're one of my favorites too, and everyone here.
Dude, Mason, if you read his comments, like if you're ever watching an old live,
yeah,
pay attention to Mason's comments because his humor is so sharp. It's so dry, sarcastic, and hilarious. It'll catch me off guard. Like,
man, it's hilarious. James, are you watching Z&G Emporium? Are you out there silently grading cards, or you're not grading right now? Creating content with us in the background, or Lauren? We need the whole crew here.
I think Z was in. I saw Z in here earlier.
Was he here earlier?
It'll be good to have Radar back.
Mason just got friend zoned. He's nice. What can I say? I like Nathan. He's nice. He's a nice guy.
Mason's like a big teddy bear. Like we got to keep it PG. Never mind.
Basic Trainer says, should people take more accountability for their own actions instead of blaming their decisions on influencers? Probably. I mean, depending on the people, you know. I mean, I certainly, if you're listening to someone who you know nothing about their backstory and you've never seen them buy or sell a card and they don't have any Pokemon, you know, like watch my red flag video. Like if you're listening to people like that wholeheartedly without a critical ear and you spend a lot of money and then you lose a lot of money, you certainly, that should be a learning lesson and experience about, you know, maybe don't repeat that.
Yes, I totally agree. That video was amazing. It spoke to me because there's been some people out there just driving me up a wall. Like I cannot believe, and it's like CNN, you know, it doesn't matter what they said yesterday because it's all about what they're saying today. But yeah, people are responsible. I just wish they didn't have to learn in Pokemon, right? If it was the stock market, if they lost their butts on GME, great. But to me, it's just, and I know Basic loves Pokemon too. It gets you when it's Pokemon. You don't want people learning this lesson in Pokemon. I never had to learn this lesson. You know, like I never had to buy a modern booster box for $1,000. Like that's not the environment I got to collect in. It's not the environment you got to collect in. So
there we go. Z&G back in the house. Tell me what to buy, Jake, or sing it to me.
That Evolutions music video was great, man. Oh.
Alan says Z was trashing your collection on a video a couple weeks ago. Was that just a joke? Or no, James and I, we're feuding. We've been feuding for months. There's a lot of bad blood. A lot of bad blood between us.
Man, you attract all the coolest people. Pat Meister, Derek.
James is one of the people that I've been watching forever and love. I really, him and his wife. I think they're wonderful people and have been really great to their supporters. Even, you know, although James is certainly super dry and sarcastic and says ridiculous things at times, just like, you know, the rest of us. Like,
I remember watching.
He's a treasure. You're a treasure, James, to us all.
Z, I was driving to work at 4:30 in the morning. And this was back in, I don't know, April, May. Your baby was on the way and you were just pumping out content. Like you were getting no sleep. Maybe you had just had your baby. I'm driving down this road thinking, this guy is incredible. Like, he's got a kid, he's pumping out this content, he's making all these sales. Good on you, man. I was glad when you quit your job. I thought that was really cool. I was happy for you. I hope you're still enjoying Gem Mint and enjoying. I've seen some of your lives. Your wife gets in. Seem like you guys are having a good time.
Yeah. Yeah, for anyone who doesn't understand, we're all friends. And we all talk away from YouTube. We're actual we have all become friends this year. So you don't have to when we're giving each other a hard time and messing with each other, it's not, you don't have to worry that you take sides in some ridiculous childish feud. Don't worry. We love teasing each other. Jason says Z&G Imperium is so good at pretty much everything he does. It is intimidating. Don't butter him up. Now we're buttering him up over here. Oh gosh. Alan said Z seems like a cool dude, so that caught me off guard. Yeah, no, don't worry, Alan. We're just teasing each other. I went on his chat and started trolling him about asking him philosophical questions about the meaning of life during the middle of his Pokemon chat, and he was just saying that.
uh, Akihabara 420. I think Japanese card, like I'm buying Japanese cards from Japanese markets right now. There's certain cards I can't buy that you can only do in person. Maybe like the high end stuff. But as far as like just Japanese cards, modern, old, vintage, it's all available.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think that'll have an effect, but it could on some things.
Go Bears.
Packers versus Bears.
Squeaks likes them Packers, man. Rodgers, not a fan. Not a fan.
Radar says James probably sucks at melee. Yeah. Agreed.
He bought a sealed. So he never has to play.
Rainy Day Collectible says, I think Jake's Celtics are actually bad. Oh my God. Freaking Lakers fan over here. Get out of here. The Lakers aren't even going to make the playoffs. They're going to lose to Golden State Warriors in the play-in. That's my prediction. I really hope that happens. Although, to be fair, the Celtics are probably going to be in the freaking play-in also because we can't win games on the East Coast. It's a mess. Do you follow basketball, Swami?
I haven't followed. So I was big in fantasy, like DraftKings and stuff.
Yeah.
But Pokemon took over last year, just selling Pokemon cards. So I didn't hardly watch any sports, basketball, football.
All right. We need to give James a timeout, Mason. Slap James with a timeout. He said the Celtics blow.
Cubbies, Bears, Bulls.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens with the Lakers. How close are LeBron and AD must be really close to coming back there. Rainy Day is rooting for Portland. Portland needs to lose to the Celtics and freaking win their games against the Atlanta Hawks, please. What are you guys doing over there? Or was it the Miami Heat? Or both?
Sports is dead. Sports is coming back.
Suns fan.
I'm gonna start watching some sports again.
Yeah. I've been enjoying. I've been watching basketball. I miss playing. That's my main thing. I really miss playing. I'm so like out of shape right now. I played frisbee golf for the first time in my life.
Really?
Like a couple weeks ago.
You're sore?
And I was tired. I felt, I was like, am I like 50? I feel like I've like, before the pandemic, I was like going to the gym all the time. I was playing basketball 3 nights a week in like 60-minute, like intense pickup games. Now I'm like playing frisbee golf and I'm like, sore.
Sucking wind. Oh man. I know I thought I'm in all right shape. I've been getting outside and I was picking up this hose at work and just, oh my gosh, it was, I'm like, nope, nowhere close. Nowhere close. Has anybody ever been in like DraftKings and stuff? I used to go deep into DraftKings.
I did it a little bit.
Yeah.
I did it a little bit. I lost some money and then I stopped. I think I put in like a certain amount of money and then once I lost it, I just like never put more money in.
I made 10K in I won first place in a 10K win. That's exciting. It was Cam Newton, DJ Moore, when he was a rookie. Smith, he was on the Saints. Trayvon Smith, he was a rookie, so they were like my 2 cheap wide receivers. Kareem Hunt, probably. Can't really remember everybody else. Anyway, 10K. Lost my voice that day. That was crazy.
Which state do you live in, Swami?
I'm in Denver now. So I grew up in Illinois, Arizona. Now I'm in Denver.
Is anyone going to Swami, you or anyone going to the Collecticon in Dallas? Have you
I've
thought
been
about going?
thinking about it.
I think I'm gonna go. I think I'm gonna go.
Yeah,
I think it'd be
I might
fun.
go.
I think a lot of us should go.
I'd go to meet you, to
Yeah.
meet these guys in the chat, just to say hey and hang
Yeah.
out.
I think Radar is hopefully coming too. John's hopefully coming. Are any of you guys in the chat going to Collecticon in Dallas? Be fun.
I've been thinking about it hard. I
Yeah.
was about to go to Japan for the Olympics and the 25th anniversary.
That would be so cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't need to meet. I've never met like Gary or
James.
Leonhardt, but I'd like to meet basically everybody in here.
James, I challenge you to a basketball game. Anytime, any place. You've been challenged, sir.
Based, I'm like 30 seconds from like a 30-second walk from Denver City Park. So if you're ever downtown, hit me up.
Look at ball. CollectorCon is in, I believe it's like June 27th, 28th. I want to say 26th, 27th, something end of June. Last weekend of June. Yeah, you should definitely come too, James. That'd be fun. He bets I only chug threes. These days, I'd probably be shooting a lot of threes. I think my body, I would be worried if I went into the paint, my body would just like break like glass. That's how I'm feeling right now.
That's pathetic. You got to get outside.
And my ankles, like I had so many ankle injuries from playing basketball for years.
Really?
Yeah.
I went
the Steph Curry weak ankles.
And I was feeling it. It's bad.
Yeah.
Mr. Fundamentals in basketball. That's actually really funny.
Ugh. I'm definitely not.
So I played hockey my whole life, and I come out to Denver, and I'm looking for like a beer league, just a fun screw around league.
Yeah.
I call this guy needs a player on his team. I call him, and they're like, I'm like, hey, you guys serious? Are you just having fun? And he doesn't go like, oh yeah, no big deal. Come on, it'd be fun. He's like, well, we've got a couple guys that are in the minors. And I'm like, no, that's not, I'm not trying to like get serious on this. I'm just trying to have a couple beers and play some hockey.
Pokemon Classics might come as well.
Grew up in Toronto, sweet.
Yeah, it would be fun if a lot of us went.
Yeah. I've been thinking about it.
I think there's going to be another collector event, hopefully in the next year, that was similar to the one that was in Hartford, run by like Charlie Herlocker and I'm sure like TCA Gaming was there, and those guys. That would be fun too for a lot of us to meet there.
I want to meet Shreddy too. Like if there's ever a Worlds in,
absolutely,
I'd probably try and hook up with Shreddy.
Yeah, Shreddy's great.
He seems like a cool dude.
Yeah, for sure.
But
over in the UK,
yeah,
maybe he'll watch this tomorrow. I'm sure he's as fast asleep. I think it's like probably 5 in the morning there, 6 in the morning. Well, shall we go another 10-15 minutes and then we can wind down a little bit?
Yeah.
Shall we open something?
Let's do it.
Do you have anything to open?
Yeah.
What should we open? I'm going to let the chat decide. Chat. Do you guys want, let's see, you find some options and then we'll let them choose.
Okay.
So here are some choices. So we can do a Mega Man. We can do a Mega Man box. We could do a Speed Racer box. All vintage, guys. This is the good stuff.
Oh,
Vintage Mega Man. That's going to be like a $5 million box one day. This very expensive box. Very, very expensive. I would put this at $30,000. This Austin Powers box. $30K. Just because I bought it for $8 doesn't mean that it isn't now worth $30K. It's the good stuff.
Oh my God. My wife would be like, open the Austin Powers. You were opening up some DC.
Let's see what people want. Mega Man. MetaZoo. We've got some MetaZoo votes.
All right.
Jurassic Parks. All right. What do you have to offer? I have some more stuff too somewhere. Honestly, most of my sealed stuff is not where I am right now.
We got JoJo's.
Okay.
This is a Naruto set.
Do you have any, like, Naruto's pretty pricey, right? But like everything. Is there anything
not for cheap? I think right now it's going for like 800, but I wouldn't mind opening it. I've kind of wanted to open it because I got it on the cheap.
I have this guy, which is fun.
Nice. Which one is that?
I love these. This is like it's got like the holochrome ones from series 1, 2, and 3. I love these.
Check out this box because this is the set. It's like 60 lenticulars. They're all really cool.
That's cool. Okay. What's it called? I'm going to go buy it before all these maniacs.
Lenticolor. So it's like
lenticolor. I don't even know what that is.
I think it's French for lenticular.
Okay. Lenticolor. Is it what language are the cards in, or is there no there's
not really a language. I think it might have only came out in French.
Okay. Oh, interesting.
Dude, these are so cool, man.
Okay. Lenticular DBZ booster box. Is that what I should put in?
Yeah. And it's gold. I think it's called Gold Series.
Okay.
But they're all lenticulars.
I don't see any that came up.
Yeah, Series Gold. Dragon Ball Z.
Right. I'll have to do some more research later. I love lenticulars. I'm not a huge fan of the art that you showed me, but maybe if I saw them in person, I'd like them more. But I definitely want to check them out.
Straight from the anime.
From the anime, yeah.
And it's just
and I guess by art, I more mean like the layout or just the overall.
Yeah, it's got a weird border, but
yeah,
they're pretty cool.
Yeah, people on this channel know that I love these. Like I've always been a big fan of these guys. These gold cards, I think they're cool. I still have some more of this stuff to open up.
I like the flat silver. So I also have a
recent purchase.
Wow, you actually bought, huh?
Yep.
This is Evangelion.
The guy that was in the pile for some reason. You guys know what this card is? The back shiny card.
Oh, I was just watching a TVJ video on that.
Oh yeah. Uh-oh. The moon.
Yeah, what do you guys want? I got.
All right, folks. What are we opening? Let's see. Let's see what people are voting for here.
French for pump and dump. No Evangelion. I got some Attack on Titan. Naruto.
Yes, we've got some people making some inappropriate comments. Seeing people getting timed out. It's too bad.
Have you been making a list? I've been making a list of stuff. What are we doing?
DBZ, Powers, Austin.
And that's all you, I think. You're not going to open up that box, though, are you?
The DBZ one. I have a few.
I'll open up this art box.
I think I'll open that DBZ box a little bit later in a better looking thing for you guys. I'm down to open the Austin though. We can see what it looks like.
Yeah, do that.
I don't think the cards are very good. Like I think the box is what's cool.
I will catch my wife watching Austin Powers all the time.
You guys prefer Austin to Mega Man? Austin or Mega Man? Austin. All right, we're going to do Austin, it looks like. All right, we'll open a few packs up. Which one are you opening, Swami?
Huh.
No pressure if you don't want to open anything.
No, I just we were opening up Austin. I was gonna watch you.
Yeah. You want to go pack for pack with something?
Yeah. I've been wanting to open up this Naruto.
I'm definitely a fan of this box. So great. Oh man, Austin Powers. What a stupid, ridiculous, fun movie. All right. We're digging into some Austin. Let's see what we got here. We're going to get some hits, guys. We're going to grade these, so we got to sleeve them up immediately. All right. So we've got Evil Rap. Okay, classic scene.
What the hell? How did they make money on this? This is so ridiculous. Oh my God.
I cannot read them at all. Can you read them?
Synchronized swinging.
Synchronized.
Oh my God. Friggin' bone.
These
Show me
cards
a friggin' bone here.
cards are terrible. That's my vote. What do you guys think? I should have asked you guys before I gave my opinion. Like it's such bad cards. I wonder if there are going to be any hollows.
Oh, that I love that scene. It was so funny. Throw me a friggin' bone here.
The rare. No, I have no idea. Let's see if these are labeled at all.
This is Sasuke and Orochimaru on this guy. Oh man, they made money on that. People will buy anything.
Yeah, this is what, this was the era of everyone was every franchise was making TCGs, was making cards. Let's see how this game works. Does anyone in the chat know how to play Austin Powers game? Should we play a game of this together? Does not look complicated. Okay, cool. All right, so this is some Naruto.
Yeah, I can't read it.
These are beautiful cards. I like the layout of them.
Yeah, they did really well. They had different kinds of hollow foil.
Yeah.
That I like, but really, there's just, I think the characters. I mean, that one's cool. Gara.
I like Gara. Yeah, Gara was a cool character.
There's your Pokemon daycare center lady. All right, now I'm pumped. Now I want to keep opening.
Yeah, opening is fun. All right, let's see if I want to open another. I want to see if there are any hollows or any chase cards in here. So it's a 60 card set. So I will probably build out this set because that's what I do.
You got too much time on your hands, Jake.
Look at these cards. What is this card? This is what I do instead of sleeping at night. I sleep like 3-4 hours a night. I'm just like up late. Girlfriend's asleep.
Opening up random.
Opening up. Yeah. Freaking bone, guys.
Freaking bone here.
Yeah, freaking bone. So what are you looking for in these packs that you're opening? Do you know?
No idea.
Sweet.
That's a hollow, right? So it's, I don't see first edition. They put first edition in so many different places. I'm looking for cards that I like.
Where is Squeaks where we need him?
I know. I loved opening up. Squeaks and Radar were opening up so much Naruto a couple months ago. Man, that was a blast.
Yeah.
That was fun.
All right, let's go one more pack to see if there are any hollows in here.
Yeah, I gotta open up one more.
All right. That one's a little bit less ugly. All right, getting the green with the yeah, these are very the beauty.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
I can't believe they made this stuff, man.
All right. It's too much. Oh my god. There's our man. That's a good looking card right there. That's a good looking man with a good looking fat suit.
Oh,
Freaking bone. Getting some copies. Getting some doubles.
oh, this is first edition. Cool. So it's like at the very bottom. You probably won't be able to see it, but yeah, they put first edition all over the place in these cards.
These are first edition too.
This one is this card is sick right here. This is where he's like trying to seal Orochimaru away, like trying to seal his soul away. Well, this was a good night, man.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me on.
I really like these cards. I just like the style.
Does it ever kind of make you wish that they were still making them? Like Score. Don't you wish they were still, it never died?
Yeah, I think I'm glad they made it because there's a decent amount of it, which I'm glad. And they also did like the GT. But yeah, DBS, like I like DBS, but it's just too much, right? It's just like every card is like insane.
Every card, right?
Yeah.
Like the commons and uncommons.
And they're double-sided, most of them, too, or a lot of them are double-sided. And like they have like, and one art's better than the next one, you know, and it's like, yeah, I just love, I don't know. I'm a sucker for it. I know not everyone is, but I'm a sucker for Score. I think I also opened it as a kid, but those ultra rares, man, I remember like how difficult, you know, those things are to pull. It's just insane. It's like getting a Charizard on steroids, you know.
So actually, we do want to open this up real quick.
Yeah,
so I did try to go and play Score.
No rush.
And they gave me one of their tournament packs because they couldn't hold the tournament.
Okay.
So this is the 2020 Unison Warrior Series Tournament Volume Kit 2.
Yeah.
They just gave it to me. I mean, I looked it up online and you could have bought, comes with all these packs and you get like judge cards, tournament packs. You can think of these as like staff.
Yeah.
Like the staff cards.
So my issue with Naruto, Mason, is like, it's just not my, like, I didn't grow up with that show. I don't have as much of a connection with that show, but I like the cards. I think it's cool. Like I totally get, like, if I had the same relationship to Naruto as I did with DBZ, I definitely would collect Naruto for sure. I just don't have that relationship.
I don't know, man. This is pretty sick. Can I get that to focus?
Yeah, beautiful.
Oh, I can't get it to focus. It's better. I mean, this whole thing is hollow.
Yeah.
Just imagine you could see the These are cool, man. So this is labeled like
Yeah,
Judge. It's like a staff. They just gave it to me. I wonder
that's
if all
awesome.
of them are. Take a look.
Yeah, there are some really cool cards in DBS. I've been trying to buy some, like some of my favorites. Um, I
They're
also like some of the characters a lot. So like I like Beerus and I like the Zennies are great.
Golden
Um,
Frieza.
Golden Frieza, yeah. Champa, I could take or leave.
Yeah. Yeah. I got one more of these. Judge Hudge.
I think that's the point of his character though.
See, Frieza's awesome. Focus.
Yeah, Frieza's so cool. I think Frieza's underrated.
Do it.
Like people don't love Frieza. I'm always surprised.
Watch watch Vegeta Saiyan Pride.
Yeah.
This card is sick. I can't believe I can't get it to focus.
Like to me, like if I had to pick one, I pick Frieza. I mean, Frieza's the Joker.
Yes.
You know, if you have to pick one, I mean, I love Cell is awesome. But if I have to pick one, you have to pick Frieza, and Frieza's the one that keeps coming back. I mean, it's the Joker.
They brought Frieza back and they made him even more like evil and sinister.
Yeah.
He murders a bunch of people in Dragon Ball Super. Just
Yeah.
as his intro, and you're like, oh damn, he's back. Yeah, Frieza's great.
Yeah.
I'll open a couple of these. These are tournament packs. I think these are more so like you actually are supposed to flush out your playing hand, like your deck.
Interesting.
So Son Goku, there it is. But this is a crazy looking card, and it's a non-hollow. You know what I mean? It's like even commons and uncommons come in hollows. Okay.
Yeah, I have some DBS somewhere around here. I bought a little bit of it. And it's I have to say that like I thought I was gonna like it a little more when I saw it in person than I actually did.
These are the winners. Winner packs.
Well, this is a treat. It's always fun seeing stuff get opened.
Yeah, I don't know. Let's see.
I think we should bring, if we all go down to Dallas, which I think we should. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna get my tickets. I think we should definitely bring some stuff down and we should all open together. I think it'd be fun.
I'm in.
Yeah.
So this says winner on it, kind of like the winner cards in Pokemon. It was kind of sad, man, because we were there. I wonder what Mason thinks of this, because I walk in and they're like, yeah, we're not holding tournaments, and they wanted me. Oh, this is crazy. Golly. They wanted me to like get into it because I was like, hey, I'm trying to get into Dragon Ball Super. I want to play a little bit. And I don't know, it was like they're sweet. They were like, check this out. You can just take this tournament pack, but they're also kind of like sad that they're not holding tournaments. Shenron is I collect Shenron cards.
Yeah, Shenron's awesome.
This is the last one. This looks pretty cool. I think that's Bardock. Get on there. You can do it. You can.
There we go.
Looks a little bit better in person. There's a cool hollow, but
yeah,
that'd be fun to win if you played in the tournament or something. I tried to get into it.
Yeah, I haven't tried to play DBS.
Well, Jake, I'm off tomorrow, so you're the one who needs to cut this thing loose.
Well, we can start to end it now. Thank you all so much for hanging out and watching. Thank you, Swami, for chilling, opening some packs. Hopefully we'll see some of you guys. Maybe in Collecticon we'll go down. Mason, are you gonna come down? And are you going to open some packs? And are you going to start becoming a collector too? We're going to push you to buy some stuff and start collecting if you come down.
Mason's responsible. He doesn't dig into his own products, but we can bring him stuff to start his collection.
Yeah, I'm willing to do that. I'm willing to part with some stuff. Definitely bring some stuff down. But yeah, man, thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me, man.
We should do this again sometime. Just to reiterate what I was saying earlier. We won't be doing the live stream this Sunday because of Mother's Day. So this is the sort of replacement stream. But starting the following Sunday, I will be back. We're going to do some new Patreon tiers coming up starting next month, some new options for people to have a more private Q&A and or private consultations where I'm going to be more transparent with my thoughts and feelings on the market. So hopefully I'll see some of you guys in that, if that's something you would like to do. The last thing we're going to do, which I forgot to mention in the beginning of the video, is we're going to have like a members join thing with an emojis, fun emoji thing that we'll probably just do for like $1.99 or $1, just for people who just want to like support the channel and hang out like they're already doing, and just want to give that $1 a month or something. So other than that, that's all the news for the channel. Hope everyone has a happy Mother's Day for those of you who are mothers or gonna see your mother. You spending time with mom, Swami, on Sunday?
She's in another state. But we'll give her a call and
give her a call.
Yeah, I'm actually talking with Classics Saturday. Not live, I don't think, but
cool.
I'll post it. And yeah, I hope you enjoy Mother's Day, man.
Thanks, man. Any last messages from today for the audience?
I love Pokemon. I'm not going anywhere. I do think the market will drop, but that I think it'll come right back up in the long run. I believe in Pokemon, and I don't know. I hope you enjoy life in Pokemon.
Yeah, it's a great message. I second that. And thank you all so much for tuning in and hanging out with us. It was a blast. Great way to spend a Thursday night. I'm gonna go get some sleep. I have one more day of work this week, and then we'll be off and enjoy some family time. All right. So have a good night, everyone, and